Good Wednesday evening, and welcome to another broadcast of the American Ricci Mahjong League. Nathaniel here, joined by Tucker for a B2 matchup. How's it going, Tucker?
It's going pretty good. I'm buying a house, so I feel like an actual real adult. I already felt like an old person because I play mahjong and bridge, but now I have like the credentials to back it up.
A huge congrats to you. I take it you're going to be very busy, so you might not be able to do so many of these streams, but appreciate you being here tonight.
Yeah, super excited to see this B2 table off the jump. We've got Vander, Andrew, Carl, and Paul. It should be a good one. Vander, Paul, and Carl are all in the top half of the division, all with positive points, all trying to secure a promotion. Uh, Andrew is a substitute, so that is why Andrew's score is not listed here.
That makes sense to me. Carl on the outside looking in, the closest into the promotion zone. Carl will be, well, sitting in the West across the table at 88.1, about 20 points away, 10 points away, less than 10 points away from taking over the fifth place. But it's Vander opening things off as our dealer with the South pair and the Red Dragon pair. Should be an interesting one in terms of callability for him. To the right is Andrew, our substitute player. Across the table, as mentioned, Carl, and on the left, Paul, who I believe was the double promotion out of C1, skipping
And is
B3 and
obviously
hopping
doing
right into
very
B2.
well
Yes.
here. I'm kind of sad that the tune came out first because I was really curious what Vander would do if, say, like the one so or the South was the first cut there. Oh, actually, the one so was the one so his first
I'm
draw?
pretty sure that was paired up after the one so came out. So yeah, I didn't have the opportunity there. But now with the 8-man draw, it has shape improvement, maybe even a small chance to turn into Honitsu. Like usually you'll get to Tenpai first, but there's a small world where you draw,
Home.
yeah, just like this. You draw another 5-man or something while waiting for Tenpai, and you end up cutting the one so pair anyway.
Or maybe even like a 6-mon. The 5-mon would like secure exactly what that shape is, but a 6-mon would give you so many wide options.
Now, right now we're looking at the dealer's hand, but we do have the capability to see everyone's hand, and let's do that.
You know what? Without the other hands down, I didn't even care. I was like, all right, this is the hand we're watching. Like, it didn't even occur to me that we would need others. Oh, we see a 789 Sanshoku on the left.
Fantastic stuff for Paul. Ishantel already one away from Tenpai.
There's Tempai for the Honitsu for dealer. Waiting on the 4-mon, which is a little unfortunate.
Holding most of those already in the Poland, but we do have a Ricci from Andrew. Ricci possibly south, and there's a Dora in hand as well. So here he had the choice to go between the 4-pin and the 7-pin weight. 4-pin, 7-pin diamond weight, but went for the Shabu instead, likes the 9-pin in the south.
And then we have the one chance 3-mon was the first cut from Vander. That 5-pin is Nakasuji. I don't know how Nakasuji to the Ricci tile works. Like, you normally don't trust Suji to the Ricci tile as much because they could have called Ricci from a Ryankon, like if they discarded a 5-pin and they had 579, very easy to be waiting on 8. I don't know how the logic works for Nakasuji.
Yeah, I think it's still a little bit worse. If you had something like a 2-4-6-8, you might have cut the 2 early. We're gonna see it. Someone could Ricci from Paul, who says, you know what? I like my Sancho. Let's just go for it. No need to wait. And the 7-pin immediately drawn by Carl, who doesn't want to play into this, but it's a lot harder to defend against 2 Riccis. 7 so is the attempt here. Genbu to the second Ricci, the one that just came out on the left.
I'm kind of surprised Vander tossed the 5-mon there. It wasn't safe to the second Ricci, and we're still... I mean, we are technically Ishanten at this point. We could discard the 5-pin now if we want.
I mean, of course, the main issue with the 5-pin is that it is the Dora, so that's always makes it even worse despite the Nakasuji. The South will come out and deal in for the extra value here. 5,200 going the way of Andrew, plus the 2 Ricci sticks.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I feel like with the way Vander had played the hand, it really seems like even on that draw, I kind of expected Vander to just fold. Which I guess South kind of was
maybe one of the safer options, but
7-mon would have been Genbutsu to both.
Yeah, maybe a safer option.
God, another dealer Honitsu.
Could find its way, and certainly playing in that direction, getting rid of all the Mon tiles in
Con.
hand. Con!
Oh wow.
That's some confidence.
Ah.
I did
Andrew,
not
let
mean
me.
it that way, okay? I truly
There's
didn't.
no
Oh,
way you didn't mean that. You had to mean that pun. And
no,
then we got
absolutely not.
Timpai already on the right from Carl.
Yeah, it's a bad tempi. This Champon 3-pin, 5-pin wait, when you're holding 5 of the winning tiles, is really awkward. Really looking to move that to something else. Could even just break tempi, but the Forso has already come out, so that makes the sort of floating 6-0 in hand a little bit worse. Just gonna hope to connect something to this 5-pin, and that's a good
Six
option
Mon's
as well.
better.
Choosing to go the 1-pin, 2-pin for Tanyao purposes. Definitely have to be a little bit brave to make a con this early. We'll see if it pays
Chi.
out for Andrew. A Chi into Ishanten, one away from Tempai.
Only one of the Dora have been drawn into anyone's hand, and that's across the table in Paul's hand.
Also holding the new door as well, the 1-so. Only player to hold that.
Carl's Tempai now can win, since it is Tanyao, waiting 6 Mon 5 pin. Still no Ricci, though. Still wants a better weight than this, especially with what looks to be, well, I don't know. It does kind of feel like a half flush with the very late Tadashi, Haku, and Nan. But that 1 pin a little bit earlier kind of disguises it a little bit. No Tempai, Chi?
No call for Tempai. And I know a lot of times players will pass Diamenchi when you have like this open-ended 4-pin, 5-pin shape. It accepts 2 tiles on either end, so usually you like to fill in your weaker shapes first. But when it comes to calling for Tempai, it's almost always taken. It's a really interesting move here from Andrew to let that one go by. Well, we'll get the better side.
Wow. Worked out. Although I believe we can see all of the winning tiles. There's 1 3-pin unaccounted for.
Paul, one of the players that needs that across the table. Vander on the left as well. Oh no, the 8-pins come back.
Willing to push it, though.
Chi.
Yeah, Carl playing defense. Abandoned the Tempai. The 2-pin was safe, so Paul was able to get to Tempai without having to push anything.
Each.
Trying for K10 here. Oh, wow, the Ricci. A single draw left. This was the last chance, but I guess since it's now San Anko.
This is huge value. Good con to prevent the last draw. Let's it go. Carl does not find the sumo at the end. Yeah, that's the value play. You say, I'm going to Ippat sumo on Haite, get Sananko as well, and just score 4 additional Han.
A very, very interesting play after being so conservative the rest of the round.
Yeah, definitely an interesting move. Definitely a value option. But, you know, at that point, you only have to get through 1 more tile.
Yeah.
I approve. I approve.
So the likelihood of dealing in is very low. Looks like Vander's going for a half flush on the left. Discarded a pair of 4-mon from hand.
It might even be, like, turning into Kokshi somehow.
It kind of is. Not pairing up anything, but keeps drawing new honors.
It really
Only
shouldn't
8
be, but...
distinct currently.
Chanta, possibility.
Yeah, you could discard the 5-pin.
Will.
Yeah, it does. That does seem like a more winnable hand at this point to go for the Chanta. Although Dealer's hand is incredible.
Beautiful looking shapes. This is not a beautiful looking draw, though. With the 8-mon having come out twice, hard to expect to be able to complete the 7, 8, 9. Yeah, just throws it back, says I can do better. No call on for Carl. Didn't even lag on that tile, so not considering Toy Toy as a possibility. At least not open this early.
A 7 mon was discarded early, which hurts the Toy Toy probabilities a little bit.
Feels a little sad when both the 9 and the 7 come out, but you couldn't have expected that.
All right, lots of Sozu here.
This is a
That's
Tempai.
Tempai.
Not the greatest way. Shabo. 5, so 9. It says no, I can do better. Andrew took the time to suss out that weight and says, I like my odds of waiting. We will see the Ricci from Carl, though. 9 mon, 8 pin, Shabo.
It is Ricci Nomi.
Oh, that would have been Simo. Andrew finds
keeping a very wide Ishanten here.
Yeah, and now Tempai. 3-6 pin.
Waiting
It is
3 pin, 6
Genbutsu.
pin. Good Dama, but as dealer.
It will slam. No 3 pin left in the wall. Only 2 6 pin available. Oh, but it comes out.
Oh, that's it.
Across the table, that was Suanko Ishanten. Played out the tile that was safe to one Ricci, but did not pass against both. Andrew gets a big win there.
Man, dealer Mongon just makes such a huge difference. Went from being a very close game to that one hand made it feel like Andrew's blown it wide open.
Well, we've got more exciting hands to come. Green Dragon is the Dora, and there's a pair in Carl's hand. It's actually Ishanten for Chitoy now.
Yep.
Not really the hand you want to aim for, but you can start with a 2 mon and see what happens later.
Yeah, it's a good hedge.
Ooh, East pair up now. Dealer would be double tone, double East.
God, I would love to see Carl get Tempai and wait for the 5 mon. That would be such a beautiful Chitoy wait. Like, this looks so much like a half flush.
Yeah, you know, when I see players cut 8 mon, 2 mon back to back like that, I assume they've got a 5. But it's pretty rare that they're waiting on the 5. Like, usually they're making a sequence out of that 5 and not like a Tonki pair weight on it.
Oh, that's probably going to kill the Chitoy.
3d10 though.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, just throw it back. Or you can use it. You can use it as a pair too, right? I think the 8 is maybe a little bit better than the 7 mon, but
Yeah. I mean, I mostly would have liked to hold on to the 8 so just to trick people into thinking that it's a half flush. Because with Chitoy, even, well, I guess,
I mean,
it's more likely that you would end up
like,
waiting on the 8.
Yeah, if they put you
because
on
there's 2 mon tiles.
Uh-oh. Andrew's getting close to the position where he's got to cut the door. We'll hold on to it for now, but maybe 2 more draws away.
Oh, there's the Chitoy Tempai.
Dama.
Chitoy Dora 2 is a classic Dama.
Might even reach you later, though. Maybe didn't want to cut a tile near the weight.
Pom.
Yeah, if we drew a 5 so or a 7 so, I imagine we'd see a Ricci Katagiri.
Maybe even a third turn, like post call, just slam and force them to take the fight. Yeah, we'll do it here. Now Vander's opening on the left with Toy Toy Dora 2, Yakuhai as well. So big value. Oh, could switch. 9 pin's not that good. Twice cut.
It's interesting to me that Carl chose the 2 so over the 5 mon.
Yeah, hard to say. Didn't believe in Nakasuji. Of course, you have to trust that your opponents will believe the Nakasuji. That's a 2 so for Andrew, but he doesn't have a reason to drop it. Oh, the 5 on.
That would have been a sumo.
Oh, the Hanuman. Still not all lost. 1 2 so in the wall, and a 2 so here in Andrew's hand that's hard to use. He's out.
The 9 pin's dead, so the 9 pin and the Hatsu are dead. So the only way that Vander could get to Tempai would be by, oh, well, actually, it's just discard. Oh, got the last two, so.
It doesn't feel great to be able to win no matter what. No Una. Oh, okay, that's the that's the punish. Would have hit Una 2 on the 5-mon, but you know what? That's okay.
Wow.
Take the 12,000 points and run into your dealership.
Yeah, only a little less than 4K back from Andrew now. We have a very quick guest wind palm by Vander there, probably going Chanta.
Surely seems that way, especially with a terminal door, the one so. You're trying to open your hand and use a 1 or a 9. You gotta think about likely ways to do that. Chanta's one of them. Dealer Carl, though, collecting pin tiles. Decent shapes in the pin zoo. Elsewhere has a lot of work to do. It's kind of awkward when you've got this 1 so, 4 so. Normally you'd cut out the 1 so pretty early, because all the tiles that the 1 so can connect to, the 2 and the 3, they'll also connect to the 4. So the 1 so doesn't offer that much efficiency. However, it's the door, and if you pair it up, it's fantastic for you. So you kind of got to hold on to it a little bit longer than usual.
Actually, is just not drawing anything. Like, all of these draws are kind of garbage for Carl.
Paul, another play on the right that's got this Dora, really wants to use it, but needs a 2 so to make it happen. Wow, Ricci.
1-mon, 4-mon. Ricci pin Fudora.
Good weight.
Wow, 6-pin.
Big hand. Una as well. Another 12,000 points to Andrew.
That's 3 consecutive 12,000 point hands. I think there was an arcade. There was a exhaustive in the middle, but
the graph for this game is gonna be kind of crazy. You noted that 6-pin push from Vander. It seems like he's playing with a very offensive mind, right? My solution to the
100%.
Ricci problem is going to be to win my own hand, and that can be successful. But in this game, we've seen just these ridiculously expensive hands, and in games like that, playing a purely offensive strategy can be problematic. If you deal into one of those expensive hands, you can find yourself in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, and it's interesting. Was it? It was Paul that dealt into the dealer Mongon, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, going for the Suanko, so also fighting for an extremely valuable hand. Well, we're going to see Paul perhaps getting a win here, because this is already one away from Tempai as the dealer, with a potentially very strong Shaba weight.
Yeah, anytime you can wait on a guest wind, they say that it's just as good as a Rhiannon.
And unfortunately for Paul, the West is also paired up to the right in Vander's hand. However, if you slam a Ricci, a lot of times that West pair comes out. It's just pretty safe. It doesn't deal in most of the time, statistically speaking. And it's starting to come out now.
On the 2-mon draw, I actually think I would have discarded Forso.
Oh, sure. You're not losing too much tile acceptance because you already have 3 pairs. You only really need two pairs to get most of the bonus tile acceptance. And you get some extensions off of the lower monsters, so I really like that. Now, unfortunately for Paul, the West pair came out too soon, so he might not even take this Tempai and just cut the West himself. Chooses Dama.
It's interesting there, because the lower Sozu, it's not like they've been cut a ton, but you see a 2-so, a 3-so, and a 5-so already out, so that Nakabukure 3-4-4-5 isn't quite as good as it normally is. It's certainly still not bad, but I mean, it's better than the West, surely.
We can see that the 2-so are actually locked up, but of course, Paul cannot. And I think, generally speaking, if you're not planning to take this Ricci, you're looking for an improvement. And if you're looking for an improvement, the 3-4-4-5 Nakabukure shape really offers a lot of draws that can help improve you. We will see the Ricci, though, on the 8-mon. Ricci only. 2 tiles now visible to Paul, but at the time only 1 could be seen.
The Chi will also break the Apatsu.
And put
so
Vander to
with the
Tempai
region
on
only
the 2-pin.
hand.
2-pin, 5-pin.
which there are 2 tiles left in the wall for the 2-pin, 5-pin.
All right, 2 versus 2. Value's about the same. Okay, dealer twice as valuable, just by nature of being the dealer, but also potential for Uda as well. Andrew has shown discipline. When he's got the expensive end, he pushes for it, but even here with a triplet of the red dragon, just chooses to fold away. Also has the luxury of having a large lead, so can afford to sacrifice some points. It looks like we will be heading to a draw. One more tile to pass for Andrew. Not many options, just like the so soon. That goes through. All right, 2 players maintain their tempi of 1,500 apiece for both Paul and Vander, and we will repeat once again with a Riichi stick and 1 Homba in the middle of the table.
And this is another decent hand for Paul. Not quite as good as the last one was early, I don't think, but already have a complete shape, have a lot of middle tiles that you can grow shapes out of.
Similarly, strong shapes for Vander on the right. Green Dragon pair up is pretty reasonable. Quite good odds at hitting a tempi, and this is one of those spots where you can call the Green Dragon for 2,000 points, collect the 6 in the middle. You can also just be patient and try to Riichi. And this is where different playstyles will take different approaches. Would you call the Green Dragon if it came out right now?
With last place on dealer's seat, yes.
So you're playing sort of the meta of not just the potential value of this hand, but also making sure that the player who is in last cannot catch up to you.
Yes. I think with these shapes being as good as they are, I might pass the first Green Dragon with one of the other players as dealer, but certainly with Paul as dealer, I would not want them to win a hand.
We do
2 8-pins gone, making that 9-pin a little bit less useful for
now
Vander.
Now a third one on the board, so Vander might do well to find another tile to hang on to. On the other hand, if you're looking for a pair, the 9-pin looks fantastic.
Carl could end up with a straight in the pin. Just draw a 5-pin or a 6-pin and then get rid of one of the shapes outside of pin.
Yeah, probably holding for it. Actually, Carl playing this hand really nicely, flexing the Dora acceptance by holding the 4-mon, accepts the 3-mon Dora, and also the nice 7-8-8-mon shape. Maybe a little bit of a backfire in the 3-pin, but we'll see just how much that is. Starting with the 8-mon here. Now, this Kutsuki Ishanten, sticky Ishanten. You've got a floating 4-mon, you got a floating 4-pin. Just got to stick a tile onto it, and this 2-pin's not good enough because we're 3d10 on the 3-pin.
Each.
The 1-mon is a great draw.
Speaking
Now
about
the
a full straight,
3-6-9 way, yeah. And this is pretty live in the wall. 5 tiles left in the wall on this way, and there's not a lot of wall left. There's one of them, 4 more.
2 of the winners are 9-mon in the wall. That would be the expensive side. Ooh, Tempai for Paul. He's going to slam. I'm familiar with his game. He sees the Tempai as dealer. He's going to go for it.
That's a hell weight.
Only one 3-pin left.
There's one of the 9-mon.
So now starting to run a little bit more thin. No more 6-mon left. Just one 3-mon and one 9-mon. Of course, the last 3-pin for Paul. Oh, the 9 comes out.
Oh.
Not many options.
It was safe to the dealer.
Yeah, not many options against both Riichis, but this will be the expensive one. Andrew will give a few points back.
It's still in first, though.
After that win, Vander
Really, that hurt Paul a lot more than it hurt Andrew.
Yeah, absolutely. Paul was dreaming up a win in that hand, and all of a sudden could have taken third place over, but now third place is a long ways away.
Home.
You gotta love an East pair in the South round as dealer.
You're like, well, it's something. Gives me a Yaku. Might not be worth double, but also with the West being the Dora, and no pair confirmed in hand for Vander. There's a world where you get extra value by just sitting on the west as your final tile. Tough because it's efficient to cut it here.
Is holding on to it though.
Alternate cuts are like the 3 mon or the 9 mon to perhaps build towards the lower side of the Pinzu connected to an open-ended shape with a 4-pin draw.
Wow, is really, really committed to this west.
Yeah, these cuts absolutely signal that the plan is to wait on the west. That's a value play as dealer. Aiming for second place.
Gee.
Might not have too much time, though. On the right, that is already one away from Tempai for Andrew.
And that's Tempai across the way for Carl. Once again, we see Carl not taking the bad weight Ricci. The 7-mon's already once cut.
Ooh, West. If you're gonna risk it, you gotta do
With
it now.
open dealer. Ugh.
It's always a little bit more troublesome to drop a Dora tile against somebody who's opened with Yakuhai already, like this East call.
The Manzu don't look great either, though. I wonder if Carl's gonna drop the 6. Yeah, did.
Yeah, Carl has reason. I mean, West is Carl's win, so pairing that up would be fantastic. We do see Itsu Tempai on the right for Andrew. Breaks it, though. Doesn't like the 7-mon cut. Maybe concerned about a flush.
I mean, it certainly looks like a flush at this point.
Yeah,
the North that was discarded early, like very easily could have been a switch, and the Haku was discarded after a bunch of middle tiles from the other suits, so...
Absolutely, that's a great read. I mean, you especially if you're paying attention to Tadashi and Tsumokiri, you saw 5-pin, 9-pin, 7-pin come back to back to back out of the hand. You know they're throwing all their pin tiles out. For what reason? The obvious conclusion is to hold tiles of the other suit, which is the Manzu.
Although when you see the inevitable Tadashi So tile that's gonna happen,
Yeah.
I guess needs to discard West for Tempai here.
And that only, makes the flush look even stronger. You might see someone deal in the 6, though.
We see all 4 of them. It would have to be a deal in, can't be drawn. I suppose the most likely person to deal it would be Paul.
Yes.
Especially if you draw 4 so or 7 so.
Yeah, Paul actually has a chance for Tempai here. Andrew's probably out. Too tough with that 2-mon, 4-mon, 4-mon, 7-mon shape. Carl could get Tempai. Is Tempai, in fact. Probably Dama.
7-pin is fine.
Yeah, could have also cut the 8-pin.
There's the 7 so draw, no!
Yeah. And you know what? This isn't so bad. You look at the hand and say, oh, it's just 1500. I was scared for nothing.
Paul rewarded for that deal in with 2 Yakuhai pairs in hand.
You open up with that, you're like, how can I get a flush? How can I get that extra 2 Han to make it a Mongon? The problem is just
you have
so
to
close
discard
to
2 Mon shapes.
Oh,
wow, what a draw.
Do we pull Haku and just take 2,000 points? Is that good enough for us?
I mean, we might pawn Haku and just start discarding the Mon.
Yeah, and that 3-pin. That's a route into the flush. Vander will open up preemptively here on the 4-mon, saying, I will get the East eventually. I believe that.
It's very hard for anyone else to use it this round. That should be a chi, shouldn't it?
Yeah, just type
if we're going to have
here.
flush.
Goes with the Pulm.
Is counting on having that, like, trap weight later.
They might see it sooner rather than later. It's a 6-pin in Carl's hand, too. Oh, Toy.
Oh, wow. Honitsu Toy Chun Haku would be a Hanuman.
Vander's second call might be an indication of some type of Itsu, but it's actually just the East, and out it comes.
Boom.
Now Tempai waiting on the 7-pin.
Paul really, really desperately wants his hand, but he knows that Vander is likely to be Tempai here. And will not drop the Dora. Not yet. But if
Well, might be intending on drawing the Dora.
Oh,
Oh,
no.
that's Tenpai. Is
Tempai
definitely going to
found.
drop it now. And the 5-pin has to come out. You can't keep Tenpai with the 5-pin in hand.
Does Vander somehow dodge this? No. There's
Nope.
no way.
Wow.
The full Mongon got the cheap side. If it was the White Dragon dealing in, then that would have been full 12,000 points. But we've got a game now for third and fourth again. It is close between Paul
Yeah.
and Vander.
Getting the hit directly off of Vander is almost better than getting a Hanuman off of someone else.
That's true. That's 16,000 point swing rather than a 12,000 point swing. All right. Into South 2, Andrew's second turn as the dealer. Did a lot of work on his first set of dealer turns. After all, he
Honestly,
did repeat.
looks like he's going to do more work here.
Yeah, reasonable shapes. Question about what the pair will be, but this 2-2-3-4-4 shape is really good at finding a pair. Draw the 1-4 pin or the 2-5 pin. You can trim off the other pair tile. Maybe even 3-4-5 Sanchoku is possible. On the right, Carl's played a very solid game, stayed out of trouble. I think one hand so far. And another one where it could win, but if someone else declares Ricci, it'd probably just stay away. Because there's not really much value contained inside those shapes. Across the table, Ishan 10 for Paul. Good slam, Ricci, Pinshu. Maybe Ipeko if the draws work together. And on the left, Vander also went away from Tenpai.
Also for Ipeko, potentially.
Yeah. We'll see if that happens here. Forso is live in the wall. Andrew's made. Oh, hold that thought. These are the Sanchoku draws for Andrew. 3-4-5. All but confirmed. Just needs a 3-so. And across the table, Paul did get the 6-so necessary for Ipeko.
Now just choosing which perfect Ishanten he
Or
wants.
Chitoy.
Oh, wait. Oh, my God. I didn't even notice.
Yeah, I was like, what is the holdup? You're just picking up which shape is stronger, right? And no, it was Tenpai. Suji trapped Tumon.
Oh, wow. I love that.
Good to see a chase.
Now we have the chase.
Not the Ipeko, but Ricci Dora 1, waiting on 7-pin.
God, with 2 already cut. That's brave.
2! You see that and you think it's not too bad. It's Suji, but it deals in. Ricci Chitoy, no Uda, 3,200, but that is another direct hit. Paul will take over for third.
Wow.
Both players
What a
duking
play.
it out. Yeah.
Man, Vander has been incredibly aggressive. It has not mattered how many tiles Vander's waiting on. Vander has hit the button.
Carl now in the dealer's seat. This is promising for a repeat, not so promising for value necessarily. See what comes to play. Definitely wants to find that Dora 7 mod. If it came out from Andrew, say Andrew couldn't use the 7 mod that's currently in hand, would you chi it preemptively, or are you gonna wait for the Hatsu?
Yeah, I think I would. I think I would take it. But the issue is, what do you cut after that? Probably like 5-so, 4-so, or 1-so, 2-so. Like, probably cut away from the so shape,
Definitely.
I assume.
Definitely 1-so, 2-so, because it makes you look like Tanyo. At this point, you don't need to disguise anything. Just maximum efficiency. In fact, the 6-mon, 8-mon will come out for that very reason.
Although can still accept the 7-mon, which is nice. If you draw a 7-mon,
I think it's still...
actually could discard 2-so here. Ooh,
2-so is interesting. I think either 8-mon directly for efficiency or 2-so for the value hunt. The more I look at it, the more I like the 2-so. The problem is that 1-so and 9-mon are both once cut, and so it does hurt a little bit.
Yeah,
you really
now
want
just
to
keeping the safe tile.
I also feel like my decision is somewhat influenced by seeing this lonely 7-mon in Andrew's hand, but Andrew's holding firm to it.
Might be thinking, well, it is Dora. But, I mean, you could even shift towards 7, 8. Well, I guess all the 8s are gone, probably. 1, 2, 3. There's Tenpai waiting 3-so, 6-so.
Meantime, Vander across the table, angling towards a Junchan. Maybe 1, 2, 3 Sanchoku as well. That 3 doesn't fit.
Don't.
So we'll be the cheap 1500 deal-in. That's basically a reroll for Carl. Rerolls into a pretty
8
lousy
distinct
hand.
terminals and honors.
Yeah, this is not what you want to see. Only a couple tiles away from a fully disconnected hand.
What would you, okay, when you're looking at this specific pile of garbage, what would you have cut first?
Probably the one. So, I'm trying to remember what it looked like at the start. I don't want to play for Kokushi as the dealer. 9 mon is an option too. 2 mon is an option. But if you drop the 2 mon, you can't get 2, 3, 4 Sanchoku anymore. So I'll probably hold on to that for a little bit longer.
I think I like the 1-so or the 9-pin
Oh, I
discard
forgot
better
about the
than
1,
9
2,
mon.
3 Sanchoku. Yeah,
Because the 9 mon, at least with the 5, if you draw a 7, you have a Ryoncon. So it's not like the 9's totally useless.
I can't remember if we had the 9 and 6 pin at the start, but I do want to keep Yakuhai around. And Carl did keep the East and managed to pair it up. So that gives at least a route to open this hand.
Yeah, made a great choice. And the Hatsu is bound to come out eventually. Might almost be keeping it as a save tile at this point. It will come out now if that's not the case.
Yeah, Ishunten on the right for Paul goes 9-so, 9-so. We'll hope to draw 1 pin or 4 pin for the Pihu and Ipeko chances. Across the table, 2 away from Tempai for Vander. Nodora. On the left, a very nice hand for Andrew. Callable for Tanyao, but also looking like a Ricci Pihu Tanyao Dora. Just bomb.
Carl drew another Hatsu, but the Hatsu are dead. There's Tempai.
Yeah, cutting the 1 mon here for Tanyao. Not the Pihu way, but Ricci Tanyao that's value. Ricci Tsumo Tanyao Ura. That'll get you into Mangan territory.
Yeah, and the 8 mon's not a horrible tile to be waiting on. And the 3 pin is a tile that you don't really expect people to discard very often, but you have 3 of the 2 pins.
We're gonna see a fight.
Oh wow.
Andrew draws 5 tiles of the Dora Suji. Says, you know what? I don't think this is that bad. He's right. 3, 6, 9 pin wait.
That's not very live.
Not as live as you'd expect, huh?
There's only 1 tile left in the wall for that.
That's kind of amazing. Just the last 9 pin. But that does lock the Dealan 8 mon into hand, so only 1 of those left in the wall for Paul.
So really it's 1v1. 50-50.
That's how the stats work, right?
Yeah, 100%. I can guarantee it.
Everyone else wants to get out. Carl has no incentive to play this. And remember how bad it was from the start? Hasn't gotten that much better. It's unsurprising to see a fold out here.
That final deal-in tile hasn't been drawn by either of the other 2 players. Still in the wall.
Running out of options here across the table. 2-so is okay. Yeah, it's pretty fine. It's Suji. Because the second Ricci player dropped it.
Shifting draw, giving the last draw to Vander, so that neither of the Ricci's have it.
Smart play by
Very
Carl.
clever play. Ooh, draws. I love it when you draw Genbutsu.
Okay, it turns out
wow, they were both dead walled.
Shifting the wall did nothing, but that's okay. I still appreciate the play. And that's just a heads up. That's being aware of what's going on the table. I recently played yesterday, and none of us had the ability to shift the Haite away, and as a result, my opponent won Hote by Mom.
Oof.
Yeah, we really regretted not shifting the tile away. For sure. Flurry of calls here at the start of all last.
2 of them are Yakuhai. 1 is not. Vander's is not, but Vander's also looks like it could be Chanta Honitsu, so...
Yeah, I wonder if you even hold the 1 pin or just commit to the flush here. I think the on trials are just as good.
especially
Especially,
with the 3-pin already in his card.
exactly.
Timpai?
Shanten.
Oh, that's a 7-mon. I really thought that was 4, 5,
It is
6.
indeed a 7 bond, but I'm expecting Pulp will be the first to Tempai here. I say that, I'm wrong. Yeah, I forgot about Andrew's hand across the table.
9-so North. Chun Nomi.
Oh, that
Oh,
North.
no, but North is such a good weight. Ah.
Yeah, that's going to shut it down. Andrew taking the first place here. That won't change positions. It will be Vander in fourth, minus 31.6. Paul claims the third place, minus 14.1. And Carl, 9.1. After all things were said and done, there were some haymakers in this game.
Yeah, there was a lot of points exchanged.
We're going to watch Carl advance up to the sixth place, surpassing Jerry. And I believe we just had a game come in. Sarah has widened the gap up to 114.8. Carl just behind.
Yeah, because I feel like the promotion used to be in the 80s.
I agree. I think Sarah must have taken a first place. I can check the game results tab to see. It was indeed Sarah coming up top with a plus 20.8. In fact, that was her second first in a row. She picked up a plus 40.4 in game one.
Was the only person above 30K in that game.
In the second game, 3 players above 30K. And then we get to our recent finish, which, as predicted, does have some very picturesque spikes on the screen, but relatively separate in terms of the player points.
Not many what's it called? Not placement. Not many placement changes in that game.
A few graph intersections in terms of the what we see in the server. By the way, if you want to look at the pretty graphs that our admins have created tools for, absolutely join the American Ricci server. Visit the website, americanricci.org. You can join the league. You can act as a substitute player if you're not ready to join the league on a full-time basis. I say full-time, but it's really, 4 games every 2 weeks is pretty part-time.
While we're at it, you could also, follow the Twitter, go on YouTube, look at past casts.
Absolutely. Our socials at American Ricci, especially for the YouTube channel. Well, we're waiting for a game to start. The second of the series begins in 4 minutes. As we do so, I see other games underway in C1A6. A decent part of the way through is Brendan, Jake, Dave, and Yicheng. USP Mail, Yicheng, got a couple in the league. And also table A13 from the top division of Almarl started. Simon, Barry, Garth, and Harrison. And this table is particularly relevant for those at the top of the league. Barry has a chance. 4 games away from overtaking for the top of the division. We'll see if he can pull it off. Perhaps later tonight, I believe they'll be playing all 4. We'll get a chance to look at that series.
That would definitely be a fun table to watch.
Yeah, it's got some fun players at the table. I don't know if we've had the opportunity to broadcast Garth in A1 yet this season, but I remember in his first session, he won a Yakuman. He won 13 Orphans.
That's pro level play right there.
For sure. All right, we'll be a few minutes away from the start of the second game, and I'm expecting to see more of the same. All these players are near the middle or the upper half of the division, so they have no reason to change the way they're playing. Just continue to fight for points and try to get a promotion. I do not know whether or not they're playing all 4 games, but we'll likely catch 2 and then switch around to give some coverage to some of the other tables they're playing tonight. We've got a lot. I think we started at 5 Pacific around those parts, and the last games will start at 7 Pacific, so it could be up to 4 games even from those final tables.
I mean, we can just cast until midnight.
Hey, I'm down. Looks like Paul will be the first dealer as we hop into game number 2. Andrew to the right had that nice victory in the first game as a substitute player. It's always funny seeing the stats for substitute players. One game in, 30.8% win rate, average win of 7,775.
Average deal in of 8,300.
You're dealing
The
in more
one
than you
hand
win.
was 8,300.
Exactly.
But only a 46.2 participation rate.
I gotta pump those numbers up. In game number 2. All right, Carl across the table. Looks like Carl's been playing ladder a bit. I'm seeing up to 4 Don. 1899R is really solid. That's Tokujo status. Then Vander on the left. I-
1899 is such a aggravating number. Like, couldn't they have just given you one more R?
I was, how the R doesn't show up until you hit 1800. I was
Yeah.
looking at a log from somebody the other night, and you can actually like parse the logs in text form. So you can see all the discards and all of the calls and all the wins and all the information of the game in text form. And one of the things it shows is the rating, the R rating. And one of the players had an R rating of 1799.94.
It has decimals?
It has decimals, yes.
Did it show, hold on, did it show as 1800?
No,
Or did
it
it
didn't
not
round
round
up.
that up? It didn't round that up? It truncated at 0.94? That's a crime.
It's about as close as having your R shown on the screen without actually getting there.
Oh my god. If you also, when you go into like the spectator room of a lobby, so like if you go into the spectator lobby for ARML, you can actually see everybody's R values in the spectator lobby, regardless of what the R is, before you even enter the game. Although it doesn't show decimals, that's crazy.
Yeah, I thought that was so funny when I saw that the first time. And now all of you know.
I love Penguin Knight also not realizing that R has decimals. They've been around for a really long time.
We are underway at game number 2. Paul, first dealer, opens up. Relatively strong high pie. There are multiple blocks, but only one completed shape and no door in hand. That's okay. Can aim for a Ricci P. I was about to say Tanya, and then we pulled in this one pin. And reasonable options there. On the right, Andrew also looking very strong. And Andrew's had not only nice hands, but also played the hands really well, really consistently. So I'm very curious to see how he handles pair of Dora, pair of South, where South is the indicator, of course.
Because we could have another awkward chi toy situation here.
Right, naturally you want to call the South, but with one being visible already, it's hard to expect that to happen anytime soon. The question is, how do you build your hand in such a way that you can still win it if the South is, say, locked up in the dead wall?
What do you think about that 6-mon cut?
I feel like you have to make a choice. Either you cut with something like the 3-pin or 6-pin and try to hedge an extension with a plan to cut the South pair in the future. But in this case, just opening a plan to get the South eventually. We'll see how he contends against this Ricci, though, on the left from Vander. Ricci pin with potentially Peiko waiting for a 7-pin.
Two tiles left in the wall. One of each of the weights. Oh, there's the last 4-pin. So can only sumo the Yasume, the less valuable side of the weight.
And now Andrew's in that spot where he had to give up the South pair, which means there's no Yaku. And it's just going to be a fold from here, most likely. Or maybe an attempt at Kishiki Tenpai. Could squeak in a Tenpai somehow.
It's going to be hard to find safe tiles. The 7-so and 9-so aren't safe. 3-pin and 4-pin aren't safe.
Well, the 7-so just cleared, so you might be forced to play the 9-so.
But we're going to get the sumo on the 7-pin before that happens. So, Ricci, sumo, pinfu, no Ura.
713, not a bad haul. Not an incredible total, so Vander will have some more work to do. And we shift into Andrew's dealership. I'm seeing 3 pairs, 4 blocks, and a Dora.
Meanwhile, Vander opened up with the tone in the pocket, and Carl opened up with the non in the pocket. A lot of breezy pockets here.
Be interesting to see, you know, when you've got those value wins in your hand to begin the game. That allows you to call whatever you want and complete your hand with speed. But at the same time, that means your Ricci is also going to be a lot more valuable. So I think Carl will call because his shapes are rather poor. Kanchan shapes, looking for middle tiles to complete the sequences. 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, so on and so forth. On the other hand, Vander might have slightly better shapes. Oh, but the 8 pin, that feels, again, that Kanchan, so we'll just open up quickly.
So now we have 2 Ishantins.
If this East comes out, we will see a con.
It's going to be a con, yeah.
Absolutely no question in my mind.
Flips the Green Dragon as the new Dora. So it's going to hold on to that Green Dragon in hand, even though 2 have been discarded already.
Yeah, Paul hastily discards that second Green Dragon. And good thing, too, because Vander almost certainly would have made a strong attempt to wait on it in the future.
I mean, Vander is willing to do hell waits.
Oh, we've seen it. Yeah, just because it came out twice doesn't mean we're not going to wait on the last one. And who would expect it, right?
There's tip by 7-pin, 8-pin. Tanyao Nomi for Andrew at the moment. Although could upgrade to Sanshoku.
Yeah, Ricci.
Still.
Oh, there it is. Could still wait.
With 2 indicators.
Oh, no.
Oh, what? Was that a timeout?
I think maybe. Oh, my heart. Oh. There's our 12,000 points. It's only 39.
There's a part of me that wonders if that was a, like, I'm Tempai, like, I'm gonna run to the restroom real quick and turn auto win on.
So there was so much to talk about in that hand that we didn't get to because it went by so fast. If you don't mind, I'm going to spend some time, despite the round dollar being over and Carl opening up with door pair. There's so much reason to Ricci in a situation like that because the 2 indicators has a lot of value attached to it. However, the weight is absolutely terrible. A Shampoo weight 7-pin, 8-pin that is already has 2 of those tiles in a call. So you know there's only one of each left to begin with, and it's very likely other players are using it. And as you noted, there's a value upgrade to the soundtrack if you draw the 2-so. There's the weight upgrade if you draw the 6-pin. And so a lot of reasons to stay closed. However, after you draw the 2-so, a lot of your value upgrade is gone, and you might play for the Ricci anyway. We do see the Ricci from Carl, taking the Shabu 9 Manhatsu. This is disgusting. This is dirty.
Yeah.
This is a ton of value.
I don't imagine we see the Hatsu come out unless someone is Tempai, but 9-mon, like when you run out of safe tiles and it's early, sometimes a terminal is just the best you can do.
Oh, especially when you've got 1 chance. Paul can see 3 of the 7s, so it's very unlikely that the 9 is being used in a sequence shape, 7, 8, 9. Makes it look even safer. Strong defense from Paul for the time being. We'll see if he can hold it up, keep that up. 9-so pair now can come out.
I don't necessarily think that discarding the 9-mon would be bad defense.
No, absolutely.
It would be bad luck.
Yeah, definitely feels pretty safe. But 9-so now is definitely safe, so Paul will start with that. 8-so
Vander
as well.
Vander with a wild Ishanten now. 2 Nakabukure's. Oh wait, that's not Ishanten. God, I keep had discarded another 3-mon.
It is Ishanten. It is Ishanten, yeah. Now it is not after the 3-mon comes out.
Yeah.
It's a really awkward one because you need to pair it 4-so or 4-pin, but
oh, the 9-mon got paired up for Paul.
And he's got
Paul
infinite
could just
safety
get
now.
Tempai now. Yeah. There's Tempai for Andrew.
Oh, he's gonna win it.
Wow.
Such a strong play from Carl is going to get shut down by an even stronger play. A push from Andrew
Boom.
as the dealer.
Well, Toy, I suppose.
Spot the Yaku, call for the Yaku.
Although, man, I don't. Well, there's the tune. That's gonna be helpful. It's just so rough. Like the 6-0 and the 4-mon are really, really tough tiles to get. You almost expect that to be the final weight of this hand if you continue forcing the Toy.
Yeah, and I think it's pretty common when you've got Toy possibility, but the weights are central tiles to be a little bit more patient because it's a lot less likely that a central tile is going to come out of other players' hands than a
Boom.
tile near the outside. But there is the
Although,
6. That's the hard one.
yeah, that's great. Or I was gonna add to that and say, even if you do start going Toy, hedging it a little bit more, like instead of the early 5-so discard, maybe discarding the 5-pin, 6-pin shape first. That if you do draw 4-so or 7-so, you could still progress the hand. Since you have the tune now, it doesn't have to be Toy. Toy is just obviously the most valuable option.
Yeah, that Red Dragon pickup, the tune was fantastic in terms of both value and backup plan in case things go wrong.
We have Ishanten for Paul on the left. I think it would just be Pinfu. Feels like there should be a Sanshoku in there somewhere, but it would require some sideways movement first. Actually, on a 6-mon draw, Andrew could even consider Sanshoku. Ooh, there's one of the sideways moves. Oh, never mind. I take it back. I said nothing.
We do have 7-mon is like not seen,
Boom.
so Andrew might have a realistic chance of winning this Ipeko. I always feel a little bit awkward about my Ipeko chances when it's on the penchant, but this one's realistic.
Now we're kind of in a little bit of trouble because if we end up tossing this pinch on, we draw some sort of improvement somewhere else in the hand. Say we draw a 5-pin.
Sure.
It would be pretty normal to discard 8-mon, 9-mon. And
Yeah,
that would
although
do
I
it in
guess
at
at
this
this point you could draw five and go got a pair, 8-mon, 8-mon, 5-mon.
That's true.
Something like that. The issue though, Vander is called into Tempai, and it's very likely that they're Tempai, even though we can't see the hand completely. So
Yeah, with 3 pawns.
probably everyone's inclined to fold here, especially Carl. Carl is not looking the slightest bit close to Tempai. And even though the Dora came out as the first discard for Andrew, you still can't see any of the other ones, so it's not that unlikely that Vander's holding a pair.
As it happens, it was just the second one to be drawn. Oh, and there's the 7-mon!
Yeah, Andrew will have to draw the Dora again to be able to play for the sand. Or call the 5-mon, that could work too, but those are locked away.
And calling the 5-mon would not be a play to win so much as K10.
North as well, because they're locked away in Carl's hand, Andrew doesn't know that it's safe. In fact, it looks very dangerous. We do have Tempai on the left. Paul on 5, 8-pin. Dama not going to slam a Ricci here as most of the weights are out. There's only one tile left. Door clears. Looks like we're going to a draw with 2 players Tempai. And dealership will pass. Dealer did not maintain Tempai. I could not find a Tempai. Mostly because the door were so late in the wall.
I actually think would have been Chitoy Chenpai had the 7-so been kept.
Yeah, Andrew was considering it. Spent a lot of time thinking about that discard. Maybe if he had known that Penguin Knight was in the chat, might have gone for it. If you have the Penguin blessing, you should absolutely aim for Chitoy. Just saying.
This is an This is looking better and better. We're getting some good draws into Carl's dealer hand here. 3 Honba. And I think 2 of those have been exhaustive draws that pushed dealer. So the dealer repeat stick's really not representing the number of dealer repeats here.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. We saw so much back and forth in the last game, and this game it actually has been a lot of dodging of dealings. Carl with the East pair is looking a lot stronger now. That is double East. We're back into the East rounds, of course.
Now, if East comes out, do we discard 1 pin, 2 pin?
I feel like it has to be the play.
What order do you discard them in?
Probably 2 pin, 1 pin. If we draw the if we got the 1 pin, draw the 3 pin, I'm not particularly thrilled. If we draw the 4 pin, that already connects to the 6 pin. Tough 5 pin draw.
Home.
Okay, so he'll play for the sort of headless shape. It is Ishanten. If we consider the East as our pair, we don't really want to, but we might be obligated to. If we draw it to Tempai.
The issue is any Tempai we draw into would require us to discard the Dora. And that slight hesitation on the Tumon discard really makes it look like Vander might be going Honitsu, but the pause was for Paul, not Vander.
Vander, in the meantime, with Dora 2, certainly incentivized to finish his hand. It's going to be really awkward if Carl draws something like 4 pin into Tempai and has to Ricci cutting the 8. That will get instantly snapped up, and then suddenly you have no defense. And this is a similar situation for Andrew. He's going to do it. Draws the 4 pin, slams the Ricci, and there's the pull. And all of a sudden, you're fighting down Tanyao Dora 3, and half of your weight is in the pull.
Yeah, you can see it over there. Oh, and there's Tempai. 7-mon would actually be double rolling if someone else were to drop it at this point.
Absolutely. The 9 so's and 8 so's are actually pretty safe. All of the 7 so are out, so Carl plays passively still.
Yeah, the 6 pin, 5 pin, both Genbutsu. When you can throw away a whole shape, it makes it a lot easier to decide to throw away that shape. They can leave together. I guess the 5 pin not 100% safe to Vander. 8 so is now, and now the 9 so.
Vander did get the upgrade, so he can also win on the 4-mon.
Paul taking the K10 call.
Not many tiles left, makes sense. Just needs to pass 2 more tiles. One pin is actually a little risky here. We'll push it, that clears. Carl not calling for K10, doesn't trust the 5, and so will not get to Tempai here. And there's the East, so late, so
you don't see any.
It looks so bad, but you're fighting for 1,000 points.
The three pins, 100, yeah.
You look at the hand and say, oh man, where were they? But against the Dora call, you certainly don't want to be cutting that. I 100% agree with the fold. Imagine dealing into Toy Toy East Dora 3 for 12,000 points. Hote on top of it, mind you.
Wait, hold on. Toy Dora 3 East. Okay, the Hote wouldn't make it.
It wouldn't make it extra value, but
I was like, hold on, let me count. I gotta use my fingers.
Certainly, and even if it wasn't Dora 3, just like something like Toy Toy East, Hote becomes a Mungan. And so I think maybe if that was not the last tile, you're a little more incentivized to push it. But as the last tile, when you're fighting for exactly 1,000 points, it definitely feels a lot worse.
Yeah, well, and the Ricci could have been, you could have something like, it could have been Ricci Nomi with a Shampon way, and you deal in on like Takame East on the Hote, and all of a sudden that 1,000 point hand became 39 or 52. Con 5 so the new Dora. which does fit into Paul's hand. It's a
Carl still
beautiful, perfect Ishanten.
holding a pair of the door on the left. Andrew holding one
A
across
pair
the
of
table.
a pair of Dora.
Yeah, that's true. Do you end up with pairs?
And the north is Yakuhai. So when that comes out of Andrew's hand,
Boom.
Paul.
It's really, really awkward here because the 5 so and the 8 so are both ones cut now.
Boom.
It's awkward, but I feel like you still have to pursue it.
Yeah, I agree.
It's
nice...
like leaving a voicemail. You don't want to do it. It feels bad every time you do it. But you don't have a choice if you want to get a call back.
Perfect analogy. And maybe if we redraw the 4 so, we can switch back to the diamond weight.
That wouldn't be a reduction in value.
Exactly.
Well, hold on. Yes, it would, because it's pay Dora 5.
Oh, you're
it's
right.
a Hadamon.
You're right. I forgot that we get another Dora when we win.
Yeah, I wasn't counting that one either.
So maybe we get like a slightly better odds to win the hand for a reduction value for 8,000 points versus the really challenging to win 12k.
Yeah, I think I would take the better weight.
Oh, we had a Dama.
We had a sumo.
Didn't see that. It would be sumo for sumo Pinku Dora 1. No Ricci from Andrew. The weight was somewhat weak. The almond shape that holds 3 of the winner tiles, but Andrew still with the lead here as we go into the South rounds. We switch back around to Paul.
That was a long East round. And
it was.
There were just so many exhaustive draws.
Right. It wasn't because players were winning. Like, the draws were moving the hands forward for the most part, but just the act of going to the end of the round every single time takes a lot longer.
So many Ankos around the table.
Paul in particular, Ishanten for San Anko. If you draw a 5 mon or 7 so, do you Ricci as dealer? Or do you hold out for Suanko? I feel like Ricci's Sanako door is pretty good.
Yeah.
I think you're supposed to take that.
Especially with a good weight.
Right.
And a tight scoreline. It's not like you need the Yakuman.
At 12,000 points does a lot of good here. Could be even
12,000
more.
points puts you 300 out. Yeah, and it could easily be more if you hit Ura.
Each.
Ricci. Okay.
Yeah, there it is.
Makes the stable play. Now we get to see how much regret we'll feel depending on our draws.
5 tiles left in the wall.
Make that 4.
Make that 4.
Only 5 pin left in the wall.
Each.
Oh, we're gonna see a chase.
On the Tonki. Man, Vander just... It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what's going on to Vander. Vander's taking it.
Unfortunately, Vander cannot win.
Yeah,
Wouldn't know it. You can't know it, but all 3 Tuso held by the Ricci player. And so it's a minefield now for Vander. Just has to dodge the 5 pin. There's only 4 tiles in the wall. And approximately 9 draws with which to not draw a 5 pin.
With 4 tiles in the wall for the other player to win on and 0 for you, I'm pretty sure the math says the probability of you dealing in is 4 divided by 0, which is infinite. There it is. And a Ricci
double road.
because the Ricci came in, so it's gonna be Ricci Sananko door 3.
Oh, and the other hand, it's
and the other one's
Ipatsu.
gonna be Ricci Ipatsu with the Dora.
No Uda
No
this time.
Ura.
Oh, it's so sad.
Oh.
You get to see not only is your weight completely anchored up, but it's the Uda. Brutal.
Wow.
Quite unfortunate, if I have to say so myself.
Incredible.
And
I mean, we were making the comment earlier, when you are on the attack all the time, sometimes it is you who takes the hit.
Yeah, so that is a massive swing in the point situation in this game. Paul, after hitting the Urasan, gets into first place now by about just under 8,000 points, and repeating as dealer has a callable hand. 2 Yakuai pairs. Red
The
Dragon.
South, unfortunately, is Mochi Mochi with Vander.
So that's unlikely to be seen. You know what? Vander might say, okay, so I just dealt into some 23,000 points. That's okay. I just get it all back with 1 Yakuman, and we're good, right?
Yep, 7 distinct terminals and honors right now, so, you know, 6 away, 5 away.
6 perfect draws. That's all it takes. In the meantime, Paul drawing perfectly into the triplet of Red Dragon, now going for it all. Says 1 18,000 point victory is not enough. How about another?
Some Honitsus just make themselves, huh?
Oh wow, I'm gonna get the
There's the 7-pin.
optimal 7-pin Tempai Chun Honitsu.
I dealt into one of these the other day. No overflow Honitsus.
I don't.
1 call. Oh my, why?
This is greedy. This says I can get Mungon on myself.
The only way we're winning. Well, there it is.
Anyway.
All right. Man, 4-pin was really, really dangerous there. Vander really believed in the Kokoshi.
Yeah, the gets the
That
bonus
3-pin
as well for the Pon. Whereas previously you would have had to get the Tsumo in order to earn 7,700. Or I guess 7,800 as the case may be on Tsumo.
I don't think I ever take that pawn though. I feel like I'm keeping the 3-6 for forever.
But but definitely benefits Paul. Now I have to look across the table to Carl, who again in this game hasn't really been in the forefront of the action, just mostly sitting to the wayside and watching the other players do crazy things. But
I mean, did chase a dealer Ricci and end up with an Apatsu double roll.
Yes, win. That was overshadowed by the dealer 18k. But absolutely, that's what's got Carl in this game. And it has another chance here with flush.
You call the South if it comes out.
I think you have to for the value.
Each.
There's a Ricci.
Oh.
4-7, so immediately drawn into hand. The North will come out first for sure from Carl. That's how Carl plays.
One tile to dodge with, and we'll see just how aggressive he wants to go. Could South
discard 9-mon?
Could 9-mon? 6-0 is a little safer if you're gonna push. Yeah, South. This is definitely Carl's playstyle.
I mean, the issue 6-0 might be a little bit safer, but the 7-0 certainly isn't.
Right.
Like, not just because it's red, but because, I mean, we just don't see. Well, there it is.
Okay, so we Ricci Pinfudora coming in. No Ura, so collects any leftover Holdbot, and Andrew will start chasing Paul down for the lead, down by 11,200 points, and now with the dealer.
All right, Carl has Cheetoy on the right. I'm gonna go ahead and call it.
Okay. Chat blessing. 3 Mondora is none visible. All the hands look cheap.
Cheetoy's never cheap. Even when it's 1,600.
Cheeky. Give that cheeky.
Four pairs now for Vander as well. Wouldn't be totally surprised to see that become a toy.
No, not at all. Although Cheetoy is really the value route, right? Ricci, Cheetoy, Door 2, Tsumo.
With the 3-mon in hand. Although just ditches it. Obviously, the 6-7-7-8 is better as like a Nakabukure.
Yep, towards a standard hand. On the left, it looks like Paul is considering some type of Sanchoku and says, you know what? I don't need that. I just play efficiently and slam a Ricci. See what happens from there. Really
I mean,
just looks like
could still get 678 Sanshoku. I don't think the Sanshoku is being neglected
oh no,
here.
you're absolutely right.
If anything, 678 might be better than 789 because the 9 pins are pair.
I think Andrew's got the best chance at winning though. Already super strong Ishantam.
Could even call this. Seven so 8 so are pretty gone, huh? One more 8 so left, and that's it. And it's in Paul's hand. There it is. So this is going to be not a Shanpon or a very, very dead Shanpon.
Tempai, 6 so
Yeet.
9 so. The 6-0s have been filtering out of players' hands.
3 tiles left in the wall. I will say though, whenever I have like Andrew here with the Anko of 5mon, that always concerns me a little bit when Dora is like a 3. Like the 3mon, us having an Anko of the 5mon makes the 3mon a little bit harder to use. And if with only one being discarded, I'm a little concerned about someone having them in the pocket. Though the 9-so is going to win. Richi Peiko, no Ura.
That was a good player to end up hitting for Andrew because this reduces the gap down to a mere 3,400 points.
And Paul doesn't have a dealership left.
It just needs to maintain the lead here. Andrew opens up a really nice set of tiles as well. Could fight for 2 Dora. And Carl on the right. Pocket none.
Not going to be super aggressive about a Honitsu, keeping that 3-3-5 shape.
Chi.
Is going to call Chi, though. It's easier to hedge the
Chi.
Honitsu when you have a pair.
Early 9-so to throw the other players off the scent.
Yeah, and is just discarding the pair of 3mon.
Okay, so this is the Mongon play for Carl. Now we go to the rest of the players to shut this down. Paul on the left plans to open up on the green dragon, should that come out of
Chi.
anyone's hand. Vander's going to hold it for a while because he's going for a flush of his own. In the Pinzu.
Boom.
There's the Tuso Pon. Ishantin now for Carl.
Holding on to the north a little bit here.
Yeah, wants it for the Tonki. Wants pay Tonki.
Ooh. How about you just draw it? And oh no! Okay, so Vander got extremely unfortunate here.
Dong.
He held a pair. He had a pair 4-so, was cutting away, drew a third 4-so while cutting away from the pair, and that is the reason why he deals in here. Quite unlucky. Carl will pick up the Mongon and that will put him over 8,000 points. 34.9 now with a dealership.
So Vander, the only person below 30k.
At this point, if you're Vander, you're just playing EV, or if you've got nothing, going for the Yakuman.
Yeah. 8 distinct turtles and honors. You already have a pair. If there was ever a time to just say, you know what, let's do it, I feel like it's now.
Well, that's an East, so all the wins in hand. It's live. That is another
it's 2 away. Perfect draw so far for it. But whenever you are going for Kokoshi, everyone else's hands are more efficient. And I mean, we see that here. Like, these are all pretty put together hands. I mean, Andrew is still 2 away, but the shapes aren't terrible.
Paul went away across the table. Could have called for Tempai, but would end up on a bad weight. Would have actually won here. Might call this one?
Chi.
Yes. And we'll cut away from 3-5. Not accepting the Tempai. Wants to use both Dora.
I mean, when you see the player on your left is going for Kokoshi, I mean, you can afford to do that because if they draw into a 5-so or a 6-so or even a 4-so, you know it's coming out of their hand.
Wow.
Ishanten for the Kokoshi now. There's only one Haku left in the wall.
But 9-so is live, and there is one Haku. Could pull in for Tempai and cut the Dora, waiting 2-5 mon, or just pass and assume that you're going to see a 2-so, 3-so, 5-so, or 6-so.
The 5-so is a great draw for Andrew.
Allows him to use both Dora.
What do you cut? 6 mon? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to start seeing overflow now. It might spook people. Already, Carl held the 1-so, which, you know, could just be playing for like a Peiko or something, but I imagine Carl is paying attention to this.
Yeah, and usually once you've identified the players going for Kokoshi, you assume they're not going to win it because usually they don't. But once you start to see overflow, you get a little suspicious. There's finally the Tempai.
ポン
3-so, 6-so.
Tempai.
Which is also the weight for Andrew. That's 2 3-so, 6-so waiters here.
And there's only 2 in the wall, so if those get buried deep. Oh, Carl's
there it
drop it,
is.
and that's going to be a double. Both players
Didn't
with
wanna-
2 Dora.
Didn't want to drop 9-pin. Oh, what?
Also
what was the
39.
value of the
Also
second hand?
39.
Okay.
Yeah, didn't get there in time, but yeah, Carl said the only way I get last is if I deal into Kokoshi, so I'm just not going to do that, and dealt into the other 2 hands instead. That will drop him below 30k.
But is a reasonable distance away.
Absolutely. Well,
Needs 2,900.
but that doesn't look like a 2900 hand. That looks more like, I don't know, another Kokoshi.
2K. Or 20. It looks like 2K or 26.
Yeah, 26 or 32. Let's go. Oh, another Chanta type draw. Could
Make it a
or-
Honitsu, maybe?
Yeah, right?
Maybe just hold on to the other 2 dragons for forever and hope it becomes... Get another dragon, then you have 3 Han.
Mm-hmm. So we'll see, again, the situation where one hand's got a lot of honors and terminals. The other hands are looking really strong.
Yeah, Vander actually...
1
I'm really curious to see what Vander does with the 7-so, 8-so.
Those
Especially with that
Reach.
2-pin draw.
Oof.
Just gonna call Ricci, wait 6-so to 9-so. The 9-so already thrice cut.
Certainly applying pressure to the table is going to slow them down.
Yeah, it's so hard to push against last place dealer Ricci.
Paul kind of is a free roll at it. Can cut 8 mon, 7 mon. And still holding the Ishanten can actually get Chitoi Tempai as well. But just
Playing
finds a normal
defense
one.
is when Chitoi shows it. Ooh, that's Tempai. Are we willing to chase on the 5-so? All right, 3 mon, 6 mon can win this Dama. The 6 mon has already been shown to be safe, so that's a Genbutsu weight. Now we have 4-pin Tempai for Andrew.
Carl has this 8 mon.
Sumo.
Oh, just Sumo.
Oh, that's the sumo!
And
And that's
that
enough!
it will be. Andrew sniping away another first place here, plus 42.2. A 54.6 second for Paul. That's about as strong as some of my first places. In fact, I think most of my first places are below that total.
Yeah,
Carl-
29.6 is a great second.
Absolutely. Carl ends up with minus 8.9 here. And Vander took the brunt of this one. But it will be an updated standings now. Carl still hanging out in 6th place overall. Just 0.1 points ahead of Jerry in the standings. With 2 games yet to go. And Paul climbing back up into the 60s. So he's going to be chasing Carl down as they continue to press forward in this series.
I would like to point out that in Andrew's 2 games, he's now 78.8.
So if Andrew started the league now, he would be in 8th place overall in the standings. Not a bad substitution.
Things going pretty well for Andrew right now. If I was Vander, even if we were planning on playing all 4 games, there's a part of me that'd be like, look, y'all. Look, I don't know. I don't know if I can keep going with this.
All right, so we are on a sort of middle zone. We've hit the point of time where we have no fresh games starting, but a bunch of games in progress. So we get to really pick which one we want to hop into live.
Why don't we jump into that Barry, Garth, Simon, Harrison table?
Let's do it. Go ahead and swap over to A1 standings. We're going to see Barry, after playing one game, has surpassed me, and he has jumped into second place. Oh, wait, these standings are... Okay, something's a little bit goofy with these standings. We've got me at 20 games, which is not quite accurate. We'll fix that as soon as we can. But while we're doing that, let's pop open the game. And maybe they finished one game already. I don't know what the result is. I suspect
It's interesting.
It has taken a second.
It's given you. It's given you one more first, one more third, and 2 more lasts.
So I know exactly what these games are.
Has gone down 35 with a third and 2 lasts and a first.
Yeah, these are the games that were played in the championship last year,
Oh.
or sort of in between last year and this year, and they've been mistakenly added to my total. And you notice Dustin also has a 20 games. Dustin played in those championship games as well. In fact, he won the championship. But that'll be a fix for later.
We had an early Hatsu pawn from Garth. Got good shapes in the hand. Unfortunately, the 2-3 overlaps with the 5-6 and the pin.
Okay, bit of lag out of the way, and now we've got our table set.
This could be... I mean, you could chain Harrison kind of playing... If you draw the 3-mon before 1-so, 4-so, or Haku comes out, you can turn this into Toy. Now, if you get 1-so, 4-so, or Haku first, you're probably just going to discard 3. Yeah,
I
might
think
do it anyway.
Go 4-mon.
Yep, absolutely does.
Yeah, this is
those are
interesting because the 1-so is dead.
Oh, yeah. Now we have non-Tonki.
Does it have the chance to call it back and reconsider?
That would have been so fun. Yeah, you do it. You see the 1-so's dead, then you chi the 4-mon and drop the 3-mon and go, never mind, y'all.
Okay, so as noted, Garth Tempai on the non-Tonki.
Keeps it. And that would have been Furiton, I guess.
But there's the Haku draw, so Tempai and the 3-mon for Harrison. Notably, Barry had Tempai on the 7-so, declined it, wants to use this Dora. Maybe more just doesn't want to drop the Dora. Gets a different Tempai. Says no again.
Yeah, still does not want to drop Dora.
5-8-so is a little weak. It's 1-8-so left.
You really don't want to put Dora into either of these hands.
No, you could easily deal into Toy this way. Toy Dora 3. Barry would have sumoed, but of course couldn't have known that.
Chi.
And who knows, Garth might chi 7-pin, wait on 7-pin.
Come.
There's a con.
Harrison
Flipping
playing for the
east.
Content. This 2-5-8 is pretty 10 for Barry.
That's a pretty wild con once you consider that the 1-so's dead.
Harrison loves this 3-mon. He guarantees that he can win on this 3-mon. Oh, East. If you look on the board, 2-mon, twice cut. 4-mon, twice cut. One player's going for a flush, absolutely cannot use a 3-mon. And Barry's just out, I think. Can't jam 2 Dora into this flush hand. Although the East is safe to the pin flush. Oh, the South.
Well, the East really is also safe to Harrison.
ドン
The South feels in.
Garth's Tonki pays off here. I was really looking forward to seeing that Haku come out and get conned by Harrison again. To see more
That would
tile
have been
flippy
buck
action.
wild.
It's actually not that bad because you have one so to fold with if you need to, but I think he would have passed it.
Yeah,
I
I'm
would
not
pass it
saying
for
that
sure.
it would. I'm not saying that it would have been a bad con necessarily. I'm just saying it would have been a wild table stake.
Oh, absolutely. I would have loved to just see the option. I don't know if he would have taken it or not, but
Two
Barry.
Dora now for Barry.
and Tanya.
And 4 pairs.
I'm liking Simon's hand the best in terms of speed. Although the 6-9 so is extremely held.
1
There's the Tempai though.
1
Waiting on that 6-9 so that you mentioned. 3 9 so left in the wall. As you said, all the 6 so being held.
Interesting. Harrison
Harry.
calls the breaking Patsu and forces the flush, so definitely greeting here. And drawing perfectly, I might add.
There's a 9 so for Garth.
Can play 6-0, 8-0. Just
Not
drops
so.
it. Or sorry, I meant
6 mon, 8 mon.
8 mon. Yeah, maybe this is just like the cheaper hand than Harrison's. For a 6 mon, 8 mon would have been safe to both.
The hands have been a little wacky. We haven't seen like the huge payoffs, I don't think.
The players have been aiming for those huge payoffs, but it's the cheap hands that have been winning so far.
It's almost like when you go for the huge payoff, it lowers your win rate.
Yeah, you know what? You might be onto something. Simon, though, looking super strong here. Will he get to use both Dora is the main question in my mind. The likelihood is strong that he will, but...
ポン
Harrison's second
It's
call.
getting skipped twice is a real pain. Like this was such a good hand, but I mean,
you
getting
draw-
skipped twice essentially gives everyone else 2 more draws than you, and all of a sudden your beautiful high pie has turned into a much worse high pie.
Right, and then you draw a useless 9-pin. These... My Toyman's drawing my good tiles. Uh-oh. You 5-pin 3-mon here? Idoke in the Sozu. 2 so 5 so needed twice.
Although, I mean, it's needed twice, but as soon as you draw one, you have a good weight still.
A relatively good weight. And of course, you can still draw the 3 so or 4 so yourself and end up with a good weight in the Monzu. So, doing okay. Now, Harrison not greeting this time. We'll just stick with the Tempai. Hydora 1. We do have Garth
Yeet.
Dama. We'll wait
That
one
Tempai?
turn.
Yep.
Swap the weight. Increase the value potentially if it wins on the 1-mon.
There's only one of those left, though.
Oh, Dora.
ツモ
There's the Tsumo from Harrison. That will shut down the threat. Collects the Ricci stick as well, so now things really interesting. Barry, the only player above 30,000 points. And if he stays that way, he will collect an extra 5 points of Uma, which would mean the game would end with him at 27.8 plus 27.8.
Barry does not have a fast hand, though. You'd really like to open up like a quick, call, Ron, Tanyao.
Something like Harrison's hand.
Yes, something like Harrison's hand. Harrison not taking the tune.
Harrison's, I
Ooh.
like my Ricci chance. Oh, second one,
Oh.
though, you have to call.
Yeah.
I don't mind the pass, though. The shapes were pretty strong.
Yeah.
It's
That
another of those
five
personal
five
preference
six
things.
six, that 5-5-6-6 shape in the mon. I mean, if we do draw the 4-mon or 7-mon, then that's nice. But even then, we held out for a Ricci that really isn't that much more valuable than just calling the tune a lot of the time.
Okay, 7-pin pair up means we can call the 7-mon or 4-mon chi. At this point, couldn't really grab the first one.
Is this technically a perfect Ishanten?
Yeah.
Chi.
No, if we
No.
draw 6-pin or 9-pin, yeah, we end up with the
Chi.
Shanpon. I was like looking at it like, can we work this into something?
I love Simon's hand, though. Let's go, Simon. You can do this. Just draw a 3-pin.
Barry drew a lot of good tiles for that Tanyao. It's now Ishanten.
It would be a huge to just pull in 1,000
Ooh.
points here.
Garth, Ishanten as well.
It could Ricci.
Each.
Simon could Ricci and will and deal in.
4
Wow.
Yeah, it's the sad way to do it because you lose the Sanchoku, you lose the Tanyao. You've got a bad weight or a mediocre weight. 3-pin, at least you can see all the 4-pin. That makes it somewhat strong. But in the end, that only helps Harrison out.
Getting above the 30K. Simon's still within reach of 30K, though. Although this hand isn't exactly the best for it.
Tough hand for Harrison. Tough hand for everyone, really. Simon on the left collecting pairs. And the east is not a Yakuhai, so we can't call that for immediate value. An immediate win condition, rather.
Garth's hand not... Oh, you have the pair of Dora, so 39 would be enough. You can find your one other Han there.
Ricci, most likely.
Yeah, gotta be very hard to shift that into a Tanyao. No
Harrison's been afforded
Sanshoku to think of.
the most flexibility, having drawn the South Anko. And with the awkward shapes, it's pretty likely he'll call Tempai.
Although if we were to draw a 3-so or 5-so, which we can't actually, all of the 3-so and 5-so are in hand. I was gonna say this is a situation where with the Ryanman, you really think about the Suanko, but with the Kan,
6-mon.
or you think about just the Ryanman, but with the Kanchan, you are a lot less likely to.
Harrison's smells blood in the water. He's thinking about that Suanko. I think he'll pull in if the 4-mon comes out, or the 5 or the 3-so for that matter. But
I just don't really. I guess the 5-so could come out now. Now as Simon's holding, the 5-so is a potential cut.
and then if it comes out, you're actually faced with the interesting choice. Do you go for the Toy with Suanko chance for a condition to take over first, or do you go for the cheap hand that has a much better win rate to try to just repeat once again?
I mean, the 2-mon 5-mon has been cut 3 times.
Yeah, and the 4-mon doesn't look that bad as a result. Octepai
I do think you take it if you draw it.
quit Dama,
Ricci.
will Ricci. And Simon is known to take fights, but I'm not sure he'll take this one.
It's always awkward when the scores are this close and it's a dealer Ricci, like, and it's a pretty late Ricci too. I mean,
Simon
there's always
yeah. Suji, 3-so, Chitoi again. Yeah, plays the
Dum.
Suji. Gets bopped for 48, but that's not game ending. Not that the game would end if Harrison took over first place, but it's not, all the players still have conditions, is what I mean here. Harrison can repeat as long as he wants. It's going to be hard for Barry to be the only player over 30K now, but certainly fighting for first. And the fight for third place and fourth place is still alive.
has Simon a Mongon out. And Garth, still with essentially the same condition as before, has just been sitting at 26-7 this whole time.
It's a flashy 6-0.
Aka 6-0. This is an awkward hand for Harrison. I feel like I like the 7-so better than I like the 1-pin, 2-pin.
Yeah, Harrison agrees.
Rion Confil for Garth across the table.
Ishantam. North door is out. It's twice cut, so tough to see value being pulled in that way.
Simon actually Ishantin as well.
The issue for Simon is he really needs more than Richinomi.
But I mean, I don't know that hand's ever going to become anything other than Richinomi. It's one of those hands where maybe you have no choice but to Richie and just hope for Ura 3.
Look, if any player can hit Ura 3, it's Simon. I say this from personal experience that Simon can absolutely do it. I don't think I've played a session against Simon where he hasn't hit Ura 3 at least twice.
Someone go fact check that. Someone go digging.
I think at one point one of the admins did a stat check on the players with the most Urasan, and Simon was like in the top 5. Oh, we've got a Tempai from Garth, and he's gonna slam. Richie
Which wait?
only takes the shot. 8-pin, 8 mon. One tile in the wall. Eight pin looks so strong though.
A pin only looking better with another 6-pin discarded.
Barry's out. If he deals into this, he'll drop below Harrison and get second instead. Maybe even worse if there's value in that hand, such as the aforementioned Urasan.
Yeah, the nice thing about folding here is it's impossible to come in third by folding for Barry, as long as your folding is successful, I suppose.
Yeah,
you can be attempting to fold, run out of tiles, and then
Harrison's not out here. Harrison's thinking about Chitoy. Played out the 8-so. And he's thinking, as long as the hand's cheap enough, especially with the door being discarded, I could deal it and be safe. But it will be Simon, as expected. That tough to not drop that 8-pin eventually. It is just the Nomi. So Garth will not make it back over 30k. And the placements will stay the same. Barry, plus 22.8, a victory. We'll move him up in the standings. Harrison, 11.2, another positive result. Garth, minus 6.4, takes the third place, but stays steady. And Simon, minus 27.6. Also relatively central in the standings after this game's all said and done. Alright, I suspect they will be playing another game.
they haven't started yet, though. If they are,
We'll put it on pause then and check and make sure that no other games have opened up fresh.
the most recent one is the B2 table that we were watching before with Paul, Vander, Carl, and Andrew. They started 18 minutes ago, so we would be stepping 13 minutes into the game. They must be playing all 4.
Okay. I will actually check the game results also and see if they've played 2 games from this table already. It does look like they indeed have already completed 1 game. In game 1, Simon took the first place with a plus 27.9. Harrison the second at plus 8.8, so 2 positive results for him. Barry took the third with a minus 9.6. And Garth, the fourth, minus 27.1. So not that many points exchanging places here. I have to say, in that first game, the big win was Harrison with a Richie Tsumo Ipeko Dora 3 Ura 2 Baimon.
I would like to point out that Barry's first tier is a plus 22.8, which is 7 points lower than the second in the last game that we spectated.
That's so true. You know it was a wild game when that second place is larger than a first place. All right, well, it looks like they may be holding off on 2 games. So I guess we can just hop into whatever game we'd like. Maybe we can check out this C1 matchup with Yicheng, Jake, Dave, and Brendan. See if they're still going. Let's hop over to the standings momentarily while we boot that up. We might also have some new guests. Welcome, ID.
Hello.
Oh, that could be better. Hello.
How's it going?
Going great.
Excited to.
The match.
Yeah, I've got a C1 match. Now this is already in progress, so well, take some time to load. I wonder if someone could read off to me those names that we're playing. I know we've got Yicheng.
Yicheng Z from USPML. We have Jake B, Dave D, and then Brendan F. And it's Brendan with an E and an O.
A lot
I feel
of
like that's
Brendans
not
in the league.
a common spelling.
All right, we are in game, and looks like they are just wrapping it up. So we might have to switch to another game fairly shortly.
For a very tense ending, though.
Yeah, pretty close. Richie from the dealer. Sweet. Shabo.
Richie Dora 2, no less.
Ooh, nice. Depending on the last Dora.
There are
Similar situation to the last hand we just watched, where Garth Richie on the 8-man had the 688.
I feel like you're seeing things before me, Irie. You said waiting on the last Dora, and I was looking at all the hands like there's only 2 Dora in hand, and then the 1 pin got drawn into Dave's hand on the left. So I think you're a little ahead of me somehow.
I wasn't ahead of you when we last played. That's for sure. How are you doing, Tucker?
I'm doing all right. Just hanging out, enjoying watching Mahjong. It's really sad seeing those 2 8s though.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're not gonna Dama this hand because you can't win it, but seeing that Apeco tile come twice, it's just like it's taunting you.
Yeah, so mean.
Actually looks like Yicheng is going for a straight here.
Ooh. Straight?
But it doesn't...
Yeah.
Well, not anymore. Maybe just K10. Oh, no, that works. 1, 2, 3. The pair of 3s. 4, 6. Yeah, no, the 7-so was perfect.
Yeah, but I think it's a little bit dangerous or something.
That's it. That's the 7-so was a little risky.
I guess, yeah,
That
the 7-so is not necessarily needed for the hand. Yeah. I was thinking maybe the full flush could have also been a possibility, but I guess it is kind of late, just taking the tempai, hopefully.
So far, hasn't had to discard anything heinous. Oh, there's a con. The 6-so, the new Dora, 2 of those.
But that's one less 5-so for
Oh, that's
for
true.
Yicheng.
So actually, that means the Itsu's dead. Not that Yicheng knows that, because the
There's
final
one,
5-so
there's
stuck,
one more.
stuck
Yeah,
in
you're
the
right.
dealer's hand.
That's true.
And that's Tenpai. Across the table for Jake is going to stay Dama.
Tanya Nomi?
Tanya Nomi.
Oh,
there it is! Sumo Dora!
The last Dora. That's gonna be
Richie
Dora 5.
Sumo Dora
Oh my
5.
god.
And then for the pie
man. 24k.
It's not over yet!
Wow. Someone just got a big upgrade in their points.
All right, well, and this is another, I mean, this hand's decent. We've got the Haku pair. We've got a couple of Ryanman shapes.
I love Yakuhai plus 1 Dora. I always tanky on it.
Especially the Sha. The Sha's a good tanky, even as Dora.
Shower pay, for sure.
That 2-so, an incredible draw for Yicheng on the right. One of the worst shapes in the hand. Still has a couple more Kanchan. but that 6-7-7-8 Nakabukure might give us a chance to get rid of one of those bad shapes.
I always forget the other name for that shape. Oh, I think that one is not as good, if I recall correctly.
Let's see, because Nakabukure is specifically when you're waiting on it.
Oh, really?
The
I
the
know the other one is
Nakabukure is the name of
Hanabote,
the Tonki.
but I don't think that's
ポン
a term that's in use anymore. Let's just put it that way.
Ishanten now for dealer. One, 3, 5, 7, 9. A sad Manzu holding for Dave. It's like what would that be? Not a Ryan-kan, not a San-kan. What would that be, like Yon-kan?
Sukan?
That's a Yakuman. Two Shanten across the table for Jake. Has a couple of pairs, has 3 Ryanmen, so likely would discard a pair when the opportunity comes. 2-pin not actually helpful for Brendan. Discarding the 7-9 so.
That's an interesting choice. I wonder. I guess 2 Eitos are gone.
I think Dave just took a step back in Shanten. Is discarding the pair of 9 Mon, wants to get Tan Yao, but is now 2 Shanten instead of E Shanten. And then, of course, we have another call for Brendan. E Shanten for him as well.
I mean, I think given the point differential, just going for the biggest hand you can to just try and get some more points and hopefully not fold. Makes sense. Trying to improve the hand. Get some more Han in there. Tanya?
Yeah, no matter how many Han you add, you're probably not going to get above 30k.
Oh, I don't know. Richi Patsumo, Tanya were a 3?
That's still, I only count 7. Richi, Apatsu, Sumo, Tanyao, a 3. Even that's only 7.
I mean, I'll take a Hanuman, it is 12
Each.
points on the standings.
Ooh.
There we go to Richi.
Now we got the chase. 1 Mon, 4 Mon.
Mm-hmm.
Again.
Ooh,
And it's
there it
going
is.
to instantly come in, but could just fold. I mean, you have so many points, it doesn't matter,
Yeah.
but...
Richie Patspinfu, Nora, 52. Well, 39, right? But the Homba. Homba plus Reach.
Yeah,
That's it?
would have needed a 3 to overtake 3rd place, which was impossible since it was Pinfu. After such an exciting first hand at this first all last at this table, the second one was kind of just like, it's just over now. But Brendan with a huge plus 49.1 already was in a very good position in the standings, and that's only going to improve it. Yi Ching coming in second, also in a very good place in the standings. They have the 1 and the 2 spots, and that's only going to remain. Dave taking a little bit of a hit at minus 21.2, and then Jake with minus 36.5. Yep, and it looks like they went straight into their next round, so we'll be watching another Han-chan from this table. This time, Brendan will be the first dealer, then Yi Ching, then Dave, then Jake. Wait, are these the same positions as last round? It's not the same dealer order. Like, it's a different first dealer, but I think these are the same
I think it's
seats.
the same, yeah. Oh, yeah. Rajong. I know Brandon and Yi Chang are in the same spots for sure. I forgot who was on the left. Exactly.
This is the longest minute. I feel like that, like you see, it's gonna start at the top of the hour. You see that it's 59. And you're like, it's gonna change any second now. It's like we have the whole 60 seconds. This is their fourth hand. Fourth game. Many more than 4 hands, I would presume. They're in it. Brendan with a pretty good hand here. It's always nice when you open up and you only have 2 useless terminals and honors to get rid of, and already draws an improvement. So that's 2 Shanten for Brendan early. Yi Ching calling the Yakuhai South for speed here. Has 3 Ryamen in hand, so that could be quick. Doesn't have enough blocks. No one has the Dora Hatsu, however.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think Dave's going for over there?
Yeah, it could be. It could be Kokshi.
1
It could also be just Chanta and just hope to draw like a Yakuhai somehow.
Did discard the Tumon out of the 1-2-3 shape.
Oh yeah, I guess then it's probably not. I think this is just gonna be a quick hand by Yi Chang regardless though. Chi back to 2-1? Just try back. Doesn't want it.
Drew it and discarded it again.
There it is, the green. No one pawns it. Of course no one has it.
Perfect Ishanten now for Yi Ching.
So yes, if you're going for Kokushi, you drop 6 mana.
Seven eight nine Sanshoku is technically possible for Brendan here, but very, very difficult to end up with.
Yeah, you'd have to draw another pair somewhere. Like I can see if you draw like 3 or 5 mon. Or 5 so.
本
There's Tempai for Yi Ching. 4 mon, 7 mon.
Yeah, most likely this is gonna be the quick and easy win by Yi Chang. Not
1
even in the like a position to punish. Oh, never mind. Ricci.
And it's not 4 5 6 Sanshoku. Oh, it's just barely off.
Yes,
Just
5
Ricci
mon.
Pinpu. Ooh.
Ron, 1000.
But that's
Oh,
it's not
2000,
like
my
that.
bad.
It's not like that 7 mon was safe. I'm curious what made Brendan choose the 7 mon there. I didn't have enough time to digest it all before the deal-in happened.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe, just want to keep pushing. What can I say?
And this
Some
is
people are very aggressive.
Yeah, and here's the quickest 5 Han ever from Yi Ching.
Oh my god, yeah, that's double Esor 3.
South's first discard was pawned.
There we go, Tempai.
Already Tempai waiting on 6 pin. This is a crime. Although everyone's using the 6 pins.
Yeah,
But
but
this
you
is
can always
such an upgradable weight, yeah.
Yeah, you can just chi 1 4-pin. Have a better weight that way. Or even pawn, honestly. You can just pawn 3 mon. 2 5-pin.
Yeah, there's lots of ways to make this better. Even 7 pin, I feel like 3 mon. There's one of them.
That's the upgrade.
Now it's 3-6.
Yeah, and the 3-6 looks pretty good. There's 3 left. And 1 6-pin to draw. So 4,000 Sumo. And a lot of them can... the 3 pins are maybe coming off of everyone's hands. Depends on how Jake's hand progresses.
What Yi Ching really needs is to steal that last East from Dave and con it for the Hanuman. That's the real play here.
相撲
Oh,
There
there's
it
the
is.
sumo.
Magon, 12,000. The most free 12,000 points I've ever seen in my life. Just,
And everyone
hand
else
it on
just
silver
says,
platter. Yeah, I mean, like,
okay.
what are you gonna do, right? I can't even be mad.
I mean, you can be mad.
I mean, the right attitude is not to be mad. You can
The
control
right
it.
attitude is not to be mad. I feel like that's true about all of life, though. Like, the right attitude is not to be mad most of the time in general.
You're about to become a Buddhist.
I'm on my way.
Me too.
So many kanchans in this hand.
The same Dora. Oh wait, no, yeah, we just had this Dora earlier. Not the same Dora, but
We're just hopping around all of the different Yakuhai Dora. We do have the tone concealed in Brendan's hand. The rest of the hand,
Yeah.
not fantastic, but easily
I mean,
upgradable.
it lends itself well to the Hatsutanki eventually because no one knows you have the Yakuhai, so they're like totally not expecting it. With especially with the one's called Hatsu. I'm always thinking about the Dora Tanki.
1
Looks like Brendan might be thinking about Honitsu here. Discarded the 3-pin, 5-pin shape. We'll see if he also discards the 3-mon, 5-mon. Nope.
Oh, I mean, drop Sandora really over the North? The North's been cut twice already.
Yeah, I agree. I probably would have discarded the pay first.
Mhm.
Although it could be a safety play, but
I mean, it could be a
I
safety
kind of
play,
doubt
yeah.
it. Oh, there's the 4-pin.
Although it would have been the greatest. Well, I guess it would have just been a sumo. Well, not really. The walls have been shifted.
Kind of an interesting 2 away for Yiching here.
Dave's hand not looking that bad either.
Has 6 blocks.
Yeah, but I mean,
No, I'm not saying that's a bad thing.
yeah, 2 away.
Made the decision to take 6 blocks instead of 5, with one of the shapes being more complex with that 2-3-3.
Yeah, I
1
think early on, totally fair. I think maybe if there's more points on the table, you want to take the pawnable shape more.
The
But
9-mon immediately drawn into Yiching's hand. Chitoy.
yeah, this is exactly what happens whenever I play. Immediately draw the pots. At least lately, things have been going very poorly.
It's one of those when it rains it storms things.
Honestly, it's more like I
Ooh, that's
won.
Tempai.
I played for 2 hours and I won 3 hands.
That's rough. That as rough as this 9-mon dealing might be. Nope. Okay, discards the 2-mon. Yiching playing safe. The Forso is already twice out, so it's not a hand that you would expect to win. If
Yeah, I
anything,
mean,
you'd be fighting for K10.
you just want to fold here. Honestly, like you're already at 45k. There's no reason to deal in, because you never know what they're gonna have. They don't have
Yeet.
Dora, but they could always flip Pura.
All
There you
right,
go.
there's 2-mon, 5-mon.
Oh, he would have actually drawn the 2 green dragons.
Boom.
Unfortunate.
And now the 9-mon deals in. Any Ura?
There you
2
go,
Ura for the Mongon.
But I told you, you don't want to push. They don't have Dora, but you never know when they're gonna flip Pura.
Yeah, and in that case, I think it was just a situation of, whenever you're playing defense against 2 Richis, it really makes those terminal weights better because, all else being equal, you expect terminals to be safer than middle tiles.
Boom.
So if you have no choice but to discard something unsafe, that is just how it works out sometimes.
I mean, sometimes when that's a situation, I don't default to the terminal because I don't think it's necessarily true that it's safer. I try to think about like what tiles are actually in the game displayed to me and just try to pick the one that has the most blockers. Right. Less likely to be a shape. So there you go, Tempai. Very quick.
8-mon, 1-pin Champon. 1-pin already once cut, unfortunately. And although with 4-pin Dora, you would expect someone to slide a 1-2-3 to a 2-3-4. So lots of ways to cash in on that. Possible 5-6-7 Sanshoku across the table for Brendan. And actually, we have 5-so Tenpai on the left for Yiching. No Richi, doesn't want 5-so Tonki. Now,
Understandable. Now Richie though, right?
No
Ooh.
Ricci. Maybe wants to upgrade this to a Chanta.
I can't believe he just missed the ring shot. That's so sad.
1
Yeah, you can't chi that 9-mon. If you're not going to call Ricci here because you're waiting for an upgrade, I almost feel like you should have discarded 6-mon instead of 5-so that you can chi the 9-mon.
1
I mean, honestly, like any two-sided way
Sumo.
that I can get, I just send it.
Actually,
early.
didn't end up taking a 2-sided weight. Ended up taking the Apeco weight on the
Mhm.
3-mon, but an immediate sumo from Dave. So it was just a donation of a Ricci stick.
Mhm. I'm sure the foreman would have come out from the right, um, or I guess from across from Dave, but maybe it would have gotten the dealer to fold
ポン
if the Ricci came out a bit earlier,
Ooh, wow. Taking the West call.
discarding the East. What is the plan here? Is this Honitsu,
I
but
mean,
you don't want the East?
or just Itsu.
Hmm.
Yeah, this is Honitsu.
Well, I mean, it worked out. Looks like Toyman is not going to pawn the East.
1
Not the first one anyway.
Hmm. That's true.
We'll see if another one comes out, whether that decision holds.
Ooh, what is this sound? Still too Shantan, but seems promising for a half flush, honestly, for Brendan.
And then Dave just keeps drawing Wanzu. It's just
He's
really
new.
working out. I'm
He's
interested to see
something never
that.
been.
Oh wow, there's another 4-mon. Yeah, and now I was about to say I was curious if that 6-mon is bound to come out eventually from Brendan's hand. But now that actually would be Tempai for Dave, so it'd be a very
Yeet.
natural pawn. But first to Tempai is going to be Jake, waiting 4-pin, 7-pin. Ricci Pinfu. There's Tempai.
All right, 5-8 mon, yeah. Pretty good.
1
That's really live, actually. There's still 4 left in the
Oh,
wall.
Dart 2. We slide. No?
Just discards the Dora. I don't.
I mean, the 4-mon is a little bit more dangerous, it's true.
4
The 2-pin ends up dealing into the player on the left, though. It's Suji to literally everyone. So a pretty reasonable 2-pin discard there.
Mhm.
But the
This
small
game is
hands,
going by fairly quickly.
yeah, they're breezing through it. Other than that one huge Mongon sumo, it's been little hands besides that. Oh no, there was the Chitoi Ura too. Yeah, if there's 2 Mongons, you can't really say there's been a lot of small hands. They've just been fast hands. Tuso the Dora here, and they're actually all already held. Jake, the dealer, has 2 of them. Brendan has 1 in a pinch on. And Yi Ching has 1 in a complete shape.
Mhm.
So the value advantage goes to Jake, but the speed advantage perhaps goes to Yi Ching, although the rest of the hand is not that fast. The fastest hand is probably going to be Dave on the left.
Mhm.
Very,
don't
very
know.
wide Ishanten.
The dealer hand here could end up being fairly quick. A very callable hand for sure. Oh, 2 Shantan.
That helps. And I certainly would call. I mean, I probably would have taken. I actually don't know if we had the material in hand to chi that 5-so, but I probably would
I
have
would have
called
taken
chi.
it for sure.
Although I'm not 100% confident that that shape was in the hand yet.
The 6-7?
Yeah.
Well, I think it was. I
Dave
definitely would
over
have taken it.
here, it's so wide. Dave's Ishanten is so insanely wide and just can't draw into it.
Don't we love that? When
There we
literally every
go.
call
Yeet.
gives you 10 but you never get it. There you go. What do you
That's
do
Furton.
here?
4-pin, 7-pin.
Oh yeah,
Dave
that's pretty
can't
good.
call wrong. It's Ricci Pinfu Sumo, so 3 guaranteed Han. Ugh. 4-mon, 2-mon is the first 2 discards after that Ricci. I'm really curious what the thought process was there. I mean, the whole hand looks pretty rough.
Oh, I would have cheated that.
Each.
I mean, if you plan if you have a safe tile, just you can definitely cheat the 5 pin there, or 2. I mean, the thing about this about Armor is that if you have 2 Dora, they can only have 2 Dora, but they can always hit Dora. But I don't know. I'm always more inclined to push in Nakanashi.
Yeah, I mean, I'm more saying that it was kind of a strange way to push. Like
Hmm.
the 2-mon was our pair. We kind of got rid of material the way we pushed that hand. Now we have the 4-mon, 7-mon Ricci from Brendan. And that's Ricci Dora 1.
Mm-hmm.
Two tiles left for Dave to draw. 2 tiles left for Brendan to draw.
相撲
And
There
Brendan
it is.
wins.
So,
Ricci
Sumo
Sumo
Dora.
Dora.
Nora, but still, 1,000, 2,000 with an extra Ricci stick on top.
Yep,
Pretty
that
good.
much closer to 30k. Also puts Brendan into 3rd place.
Ooh, this is a great hand, Shanton.
ポン
Yeah.
Ooh, with chance of Sanchoku too if we draw the 6 out? That'd be great. There you go. Chance of Sanchoku's here.
Yeah, and actually I really like that is guaranteeing that this is going to be a good weight, not going to
Yeah, this
accept
can
the
set
1
up a
or
trap.
7 draw.
I mean, the nice thing about this is that it can set up a Tsurugawa trap.
It might be able to. The thing is, it's so early that if you get Tenpai in the next couple of draws, it won't end up being Sotagawa anyway, because it'll be
This is
too
true.
close to the Ricci tile. But we have a quick Tenpai from Yiching waiting 6-mon. Somehow faster than this Ishan Tenet draw dealer hand.
Yeah, Yiching has been speeding. Speed demon.
カン相撲
Calls
On
the
Richon!
Richon! Flips 9-mon, which doesn't help, but
You love to see it though.
Rinshan double non.
Amazing. I mean, it's always a good time when you see a Rinshan.
God. So disappointing for Brendan. You have such an amazing dealer hand, and you can't even get to Tenpai before someone Rinshans. Yiching the dealer now after that incredible little bit of luck. And I mean, really, this hand, it's got a lot of bad shapes in it, but doesn't have a lot of bad extra tiles. So still probably an above average high pie, all things considered. And I don't see any other incredibly fascinating hands around the table.
Mhm.
Brendan's hand, I guess, isn't that far away. It's 2 away already, but also some poor shapes in that hand. And actually, keeping the 5-mon over the 8-9 Pinchon is going to consider the 8 to be a part of the 6-6 pin, making a complex shape out of it instead of 2 weaker shapes.
It's another hand that I don't know. I feel like the tree munchie is something I would do personally. Oh, I guess you can just draw it. Never mind. So what's 9-8 pin? Just confirms the pair.
Yeah, discarding the 1 pin first. I don't think we would keep the 8 pin, 9 pin, or like if we drew 7 pin, I mean, I still think
Yeah.
we'd probably discard away from. Oh, we'd probably discard one of our pairs. So
Yeah. I feel like we could have kept the 1-2-3 pin chance. That way we can get Pingfu as well. To
Although-
Dama Dora 2.
Although keeping 2 Dora in hand allows us to pawn, which is something we would like to do. Did I say 2 Dora? I meant to say 2 pairs. Keeping 2
Mhm.
pairs in hand allows us to call pawn if the Dora comes out.
Oh yeah, I agree. We could have kept the 1 pin regardless though, and have
Yes, no,
both
yeah.
the yeah. We are
That's
in agreement.
Chitoi Ishanten for Brendan,
Chi.
and is full committing to that, discarding away from a completed sequence. Ishanten for Yi Ching as well.
Dave's hand is so awkward. Like you want to go for Itsu or you want to go for just anything, but it's kind of awkward.
If the Forso had come out first, that makes going for the Itsu a little bit easier if you wanted to open it. But yeah, it's just discarding 9 so 8 so.
Hmm.
Is Ishanten as well.
Oh, there you
Is
go.
there?
That's great. That's a great draw.
Since it's I like to call this super perfect Ishanten, since instead of a Ryamen pair, we have a Sanmin-chan pair. God, same for Yi Ching. We have 2 super perfect Ishantens at the table. Oh, Dave getting rid of the pair of 4 Mon. Actually wants to play that as like 4, 5, 6. I guess it's hard to get the Ipeco though. I guess now you can with a new pair in hand.
Each.
But the first Ricci is going to be from Jake. Waiting just on the 2 Mon. Ricci no mi.
Yeah, it'll be a bit tricky here to not discard a 2-1 if we get Tempai with Dora 2. However, Yiching could also just fold and not drop the 2-1, and 2-1 does not look very safe at all. Oh, that solves the issue.
Pom.
Yeah, we call pawn, drop 3 Mon.
Yep. Sounds great. No.
Actually playing it a little bit safer.
Mhm.
Discard the 5 pin. The 6 pin doesn't look awful itself.
It's just that the Manzu are so like alive. Every single Manzu.
Oh, there you go. 7 Mon now a winning tile. Now we do see all of them being held, so someone would have to deal in for Yi Ching to get this. The issue is if you draw another Manzu at this point, you have to discard one of them.
That is true.
Wait, literally no Manzu? No, a single 3 Mon has been discarded.
Yeah, single 3-mon. That's
No
why like
other Mon.
so hesitant to drop that
Each.
3-mon because it's just so scary.
Oh, and now we have the chase. Chitoy waiting on 5
Con.
Mon. There's a con. The East, the
Oh, God.
new Dora doesn't help anybody.
Oh god. Ah. What do you drop?
This
What does
is
the other drop?
rough.
That's
I mean,
something fine.
6-0. I feel like 6-0 was the safest tile in hand there. But we're just gonna end with 3 people Tempai. All of that nonsense and nothing wins.
Getting those 10-byte payments.
And this is not a good hand. Pair of Haku on the right though for Dave. So could just take a call and go, try and accelerate, take the 2,300 points in the middle of the table. Although Yi Ching draws another Haku, so now they're Mochi Mochi. They're Mochi Mochi with the Mochi.
Yeah, Dave's hand's gonna be a little bit paralyzed. It's a bit hard to
God. Although everybody's hands are pretty developed here. Brendan's Ishanten. Ryanman, Ishanten.
yeah, I guess Brandon's the most likely to win this simply because the Mochi Mochi.
Although
And across
currently
the way
the Haku's just a pair for Yi Ching right now. So as long as Yi Ching doesn't open Atazuke,
I don't think he would, but
Yeah,
Still,
not at
I
55.
don't know if you want to like reach on a bad way with no value when there's like 4 Dora alive. That seems kind of scary, especially when you're earning first. There's no need to do that.
Jake Ish on 10 as well now. Dave is 2 Shanten. Could actually drop the pair of Haku if he wanted to get Pinfu instead. Which would enable Yiching to call. Now's the decision point. Yep, does it. Discards the Haku. And so now, and Yiching passes it. I mean, Yiching is... Well, we'll see. There's the Riichi waiting on 2 So for Jake. 2 of those left in the wall.
Yeah, I guess even if you call it, what are you fighting for, right? 1 Han, and then like the only upgrade you could possibly get is Tangyang North. So just having 2 more safe tiles is actually going to come quite in handy here against this Riichi.
Although, even if you called the Haku, you wouldn't end up doing a Tanki wait on North probably because you'd be Ferritin.
Oh, I didn't even notice the North discarded. You're so right.
The advantage though to calling the Haku is that you have a headless Ishanten, which just makes you fast, and no one has the North. Oh, and there's the 2 So Sumo. Right when David got in Tenpai and chased with the Pinfu, Jake collects. And we move into South 3. South is the Dora.
So that was what, 2 extra Riichi sticks, I think?
Oh yeah. That ended up benefiting Jake quite a bit there.
South Round, South Dora, and the South Sea does have 1 of them, and the rest are remain to be seen. So we'll see. This could be a pretty big hand here for Jake.
Dave has made it to 4 blocks. I never like it when my hand doesn't have 5 blocks at the end of the first row. Only 1 more chance for Dave to get that 5th block in time. Nope. Brendan is... Actually, Brendan's not 2 away because there's no pair. You can't have 5 blocks and a pair in that hand. Now is 2 away. Just an awkward 2 away. Yiching drawing some weight improvements, but still has a Kanchan and a Pinchan kind of holding up the hand a little bit. There's your pair. Your Ishanten now. For Brendan.
Pretty good Ishantan. I guess you'd want to win this regardless, just because if you're in 30, you don't want to let the dealer come back. This could be
Can
Tanyo
shift to
now.
Tanyao. Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. Riichi Pingfus are always like, it's either manga, and when you hit that 5%, or it's just, you know, it is what it is. 2,000 or whatever. You'd obviously want more points, but you're just going to take it.
Yeah, isn't going to end up with the Tanyao. Just the Riichi Pinfu. But the biggest thing here is keeping your competition from winning a hand as dealer.
Yep.
The 3-mon first discard, a little risky. It's not necessarily a horrible tile, but this is very much a fighting discard from Dave.
One pin now, or Okay, 6-mon. Suji, 3-mon.
Yeah, the 3-mon and the 9-mon discarded. It did become Nakasuji. Kind of created it. That actually might have been the thinking. 2-pin is also a possibility, though. 2-pin kind of is benefiting our hand a little bit here. But it's Suji. Oh, there's Dora. And it's still live. Oh, just discards it.
スモ
Unfortunately, despite the valiant efforts, cannot quite fight this hand. It's only going to be 713 though.
It does create a 6,700 point gap. Oh, are we going to see a con on turn 1 from Brendan?
I mean, would be pretty nice.
It's
I
one of
think
the
I would just
ways
con
to
it.
help get yourself to Mongon. I would wait. I would hold off on the con until later
And
in
what
the
would you
hand.
discard?
Probably 7, so.
Hmm.
Although it's a little rough because the 7 so does allow
I don't
you
know,
to.
like if you get a any manga in here is enough to get like, you know, second place at the very least. If it's Sumo.
カン
There's the con and
Okay,
draws the
okay.
6-mon.
Pretty good.
So
Yeah,
this is now
I was just
Ishanten.
afraid of drawing like an 8-so off the wall, but you know, it works out. Works
Yeah,
out.
and 3-mon's the new Dora. So this is now Hatsu Dora 2.
I mean,
Pump.
but with the green, that's already manga on. With the green con.
リー
There we
チ
go.
There's
Riichi.
Tempai.
Riichi, Door 2 green. This could be a huge hand. How many euros can we find?
Yeah, this is
No, I thought Sumo.
this is really awkward for dealer because a sumo is almost certainly going to drop you beneath 30k and is also almost certainly going to put you in third. But so like, do you actually kind of push this a little?
I would.
Because let's see, you're 1800. There's no Homba, and you're 18.1 above Dave. So even dealing into Baimon doesn't drop you into fourth. So I feel like
The main issue is that if they manga and Sumo, you also fall below 30k. So it's like
yeah,
4,000
that's what I'm
plus
saying.
plus a 5,000. Yeah. So you're losing like more than a manga, which I think to me makes the equation a little bit different. Like I think I would con this. I think I would con the red.
Oh, I wouldn't do that. That's crazy talk. These are horrible weights. Like the red is a safe tile. Like I'm all for pushing because even dealing into a Baimon doesn't drop us into fourth, and a
Actually, I just
sumo also
realized.
drops us into third. But like, there's we don't need to tempt fate. And with 3 so already gone.
Yeah,
Like,
I didn't realize the 3 seals were gone. To be fair. Chat approves of the con.
chat always approves of the con. Chat's a bunch of trolls. Granted, we're normally trolls too.
I've gotten through so much mahjong by just trolling. So how many tiles are left, anyways?
Don't.
Oh,
Oh, the
there's.
5-mon.
Ooh.
Riichi
We got-
Hatsu Dora
we got
2,
Nachi.
no, or
So that's. Ooh, Dave's gonna take a big fourth.
yeah, Dave's gonna end up being the only person below 30k.
Minus 42.5. Unfortunate.
Yi Ching with a great first there, 33.7. Jake with the
Mhm.
plus 8.6, respectable. Brendan with the plus 0.2. So we'll still be in first. Yi Ching will not quite have enough to pass him. And then Dave, unfortunately, with a minus 42.5, was in last there. And while you did lose another 8,000 points and 5 points to Uma, like, you weren't that far out of third place. So it was very conceivable that if you were able to win the hand, you'd be able to overtake. Just kind of a rough break the way the tiles came in.
So there it is. Brendan and Yi Chang getting some more points. Jake not losing any points. I believe Jake was third, right?
Jake was second in that game.
Oh, okay. So it's the opposite. Well, so it looks like they've done quite well. I believe that's all of the games for tonight. Is that correct?
Yes, the other game started quite a while ago, so to be entering in towards the end, and we have already been going for a couple hours here. So a very exciting night of mahjong. We
Mhm.
saw so many huge hands. No Yakumans, but I feel like we had enough enough Hanamans to tide us over.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you so much for commentating with me, Tucker.
Yes, thank you for stepping in for the last couple of games there. And of course, thank Nathaniel for, as always, doing the directing, the hardest part of making these Wednesday broadcasts happen. And don't forget, as we mentioned earlier, we are still we are always accepting entrance into the ARML. And if you register right now, you will still be able to join into the next season, which would be the summer season. I
Mhm.
always get a little confused on which season it is, but I'm pretty sure the next season is summer.
Yep.
To do that, you go to americanreachy.org. You can also follow us on Twitter at americanreachy. And then we have about, I think, hold on, let me check real quick. We have 5 million hours of Mahjong content on our YouTube channel. So be sure to subscribe there so that you can go back and watch a lot. If you're relatively new to the game, might be a good way to learn, especially if you're wanting to learn the Japanese terms, because we use them a lot, and a lot of people on the broadcast are good about saying the English term and the Japanese term. So it's a good way to learn strategy and the vocabulary of the game, and just to hear us geek out about fun hands. And as always, cons. Yes, exactly 5 million. The Wax Mango is calling into question the amount of YouTube content we have.
No, I've
I
personally checked. It is in fact 5 million. Might be surprising to some, but it's true.
I have
You
a
should go check it
master's in
out.
mathematics. You can trust me on all numbers.
I mean, have you checked out the YouTube? Maybe you should go check it out if you don't believe us.
All right, and with that, thank you so much for watching. It was a fun night of mahjong, and from everyone here at the American Ricci Mahjong League, good night.
Good night, everybody.